instant classic a week ago, Cody Fajardo became the first Edmonton QB to throw over 500 passing yards since 2013. He was sensational, but guess what? So was his counterpart, Trevor Harris, matching Fajardo with 4 TDs, but ultimately it was the double E escaping with the victory. It is round 2 going today. Just over a week ago, the Riders and the Elks combined for 974 total yards, 70 points, 8 TDs, 8 lead changes. It is no wonder there is so much excitement in the city of Edmonton today. And I'll tell you this, these fans are just pouring into Commonwealth Stadium, and you have to feel the energy here right now. And I know we don't want to be biased in any way. I get that. It's hard not to smile right now, though, and see this fan base and these fans show up alongside Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, and Milt Stegall, and welcome to Commonwealth Stadium. Enoch, it was a classic a week ago between these Riders and these Elks. We have high expectations for this game today. What are your keys to victory?
High expectations indeed, Kate, but I wouldn't necessarily expect Cody Fajardo to throw for another 500-yard game, and that wouldn't be smart. I want to see how this offense is going to be creative to get the ball to Justin Rankin. Everybody knows when he touches the ball, it's going to be difficult, so you come into the game trying to stop him from doing that. But you got to find a way to still give him the ball, whether it's tosses, counters, different ways to get him the ball, because he is an integral piece of this offense.
The key to the game for me, and it's always this when you play the Riders and Trevor Harris, is to get Trevor Harris off of his first look. Can the Elks defense get Trevor off his first look, make him go through his progressions, but take those easy throws away and make him move his feet? If Trevor stands in the pocket and delivers, he's tough to stop. But the key to who's going to win this game is going to be a special teams play. Maybe it's Javon Leak. It's somebody that's going to make a play on special team or turnovers, because they're the #1 and #2 offenses in the CFL when it comes to touchdown scoring drives.
The key to me are individuals who won't even step on the field. And that's these fans right here. They're the key to me. We talk about the 13th man in Saskatchewan. They got the 13th, the 14th, the 15th man here. We haven't seen a crowd like this in years.
I haven't felt this energy.
We haven't felt this in years. If these Elks could get off on the right foot and get these fans involved, this could be an atmosphere that they can ride to a victory. And if they can ride to a victory and start the season 7-1, this team is on to do some big things.
The first quarter and first drive might be more important than any beginning drives to a game for these Elks, because of the crowd and trying to keep them in it.
Yeah, start fast and set the tone for sure to kind of get the ball rolling.
And you know what, too? I'll give credit to the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Their fans have shown up today, too. But just the importance, I think, of this game, and we can't talk enough about this. We see over 30,000 fans behind us right now at Commonwealth Stadium. Enoch, how important is this for Edmonton to get this win, or at least keep it close?
Absolutely. No, not keep it close. You know, I'll tell you what, these guys in the locker room, they want to win it. And they want this type of game against the reigning champions right now. This is not just big for the fans, but this is for a league. It's a statement you're making, and you're sending out a message.
All right, we are slightly fired up. The fans are fired up. We are ready for the rematch between the Riders and the Elks. Let's get you down to the field level for the national anthem.
At safety from Wake Forest, number 25, Shaylin Carnes. And at halfback from Austin P, number 13, Cordell Jackson. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise if able and remove your hats and join us in the singing of our national anthem, performed by Soraya Liapis.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you.
All of Edmonton, Alberta, this is your chance to win big thanks to Save on Foods' $1 million touchdown to win. If the kickoff is returned for a touchdown, you could win groceries for a year. If 2 kickoffs are returned for touchdowns in this game, you could also win $1 million. Good luck, Stuart. Let's get you to the guys calling it. It's Dustin Nielsen and Glenn Suter.
Well, safe to say we may have saved the best for last in week 9 as we are set for a huge rematch between the Elks and the Riders, the second of 3 meetings this season. Edmonton coming out on top in thrilling fashion last week. We got to talk about the quarterbacks. These guys combined for almost 1,000 yards.
2 veteran quarterbacks put on a show last week in round 1. Cody Fajardo threw for a career-high 510 yards passing. When you add that to Trevor Harris's 385 and combine the 4 touchdowns each, that's almost 908 touchdowns between these 2 quarterbacks. Buckle up, this should be a good one.
Corey Mason, his team will be ready. They are 2-0 on the road this season. Wins over Calgary and Ottawa. Killam's 3-0 at home, so something's got to give. Over 30,000 in attendance here at Commonwealth Stadium for what some are calling the biggest game of the year. After the last time they played, it was the biggest game of the year. This is booted away, and we are underway to wrap up week 9. And it'll be Javon Leak at the 20. Leak kicks it up the middle. Little bit of space, still going, and now he's going to punch it to the outside. All the way up to the 45. And the crowd here at Commonwealth loves that 35-yard return.
Yeah, you want to get the crowd engaged early, and there's projected over 30,000 here at Commonwealth for this one tonight. There's Cody Fajardo's season-long numbers, and again, 510 yards. The last quarterback to do that, throw for over 500 in a game, Ricky Ray, almost 10 years ago.
Got to go back to 2017 for that one. Edmonton will start their own 48. Fajardo, 25 of 32 for 510, 4 touchdowns last week. Gets this one away. Completion to midfield. Couple extra yards and a flag back by Cody Fajardo. Let's take a look at Edmonton's starting offense.
Up front, Carter O'Donnell is back at left guard. Joe
Major
Cooper.
foul, roughing the passer. Saskatchewan number 6. 15 yards added at the end of the play. Automatic first down.
Will make his first start. And then Austin Mack was the #1 target in that 500-plus game for Cody Fajardo last week.
Well, a big penalty here early, and this ball is marched all the way down inside the Rider 40. It'll be placed on the Saskatchewan 38. Edmonton has won 3 in a row. The Riders are 3-2 in their last 5. Fajardo will have 4 options out to his left. Now O'Leary Orange slides over. And that's where they're going to go. O'Leary Orange has it, finds the 30, and he lunges ahead with just short of a first down. Let's flash it back to that roughing the passer.
Now let's take a look and see where those extra yards came from. Full pressure, and just Jameer Thurman, a little bump, but head-to-head contact.
Fajardo trying to push it ahead. It was 2nd and inches. He runs into Thurman, but should have enough for the first down, and he does. Let's take a look at this Riders defense.
Leader on that group is James Waters in the sack department. He's got 5 on the season. Coming into the week, that was tied for the league lead. Antoine Brooks leads the team in defensive plays with 44, and you go back into the secondary. No Roland Milligan in this one tonight. Jonathan Edward will play his spot at halftime.
From the Rider 26, on the ground with Franken, breaks 1 tackle, pushes it ahead, and a decent pickup on first down. Got about half of what they needed. It'll be a second and manageable here for the Double E.
Boy, did he get a great start to the season. You look at those first 2 wins for Edmonton in this 6-game run, and it was all Rankin. Almost 500 yards from scrimmage. Games. Justin Rankin. Those numbers have dropped off of late, but you know they're going to get him involved tonight.
He'll stand to the right of Fajardo. Second and 5 from the 21. Fajardo looks over the middle, has a completion, tackle broken down to the 5. First time today. 16 yards to Austin Mack. Austin Mack has been heating up as the season has moved along.
Yeah, it doesn't get much harder than 4 catches for 173 and a pair of touchdowns against Saskatchewan last week, and some explosion plays. I mean, between the 2 quarterbacks, there were 7 explosions over 30 yards. Mack had a couple. Cody Fajardo had 4.
First and goal from the 5 for Edmonton on the opening drive of the game. They'll give it to Rankin. Bouncing off a tackle, being held on to. Got maybe a yard on the play, and it'll be second and goal. This is what we're talking about with Justin Rankin through the first 8 weeks of the season.
Yeah, when you look at the projection and you look at the overall numbers, I mean, we're talking almost 1,500 yards rushing, and doesn't lead the league in rushing now because those numbers, as I mentioned, have dropped off. The BC Lions did a nice job in 2 games against them. But he's important, whether he has the ball or not.
They'll try it again. Second and goal from the 4. Rankin pushing ahead, and he's in. Touchdown, Edmonton. Justin Rankin starts it with a bang, and the Elks go on top early.
Well, this starts with a great return from Javon Leake to get the crowd here, and it's a big crowd at Commonwealth. Get them fired up, good field position, and how about Fajardo just getting Rankin involved in this drive at the very beginning and then capping it off with a touchdown that he just would not be denied.
Rankin finding the end zone, his 7th rushing touchdown of the season. Blanchard out for another, right down the middle, and it's 7-0 for Edmonton. It's a 7-play, 62-yard drive to start the game. Took just under 4 minutes and finishes in the hands of Rankin. Had 9 rushing touchdowns last season. He's already got 7, and it's prehistoric party night. He's doing a dinosaur there, I think.
Well, there's lots of fans to join in. It starts with a nice return from Javon Leake this drive, 37-yarder for Leake to get Cody Fajardo in some real nice field position. He got Rankin going, and I mentioned Rankin's important whether he gets it on these little runs or is the decoy in the play action game. Either way, he finished the drive off. 7 plays, 62 yards for the Major to get things started and get this crowd engaged.
But to get the big crowd, you know, there's a lot of Riders fans here as well.
Absolutely.
They didn't like it, but you will hear some roars when the Riders do some good things this evening as well. Fajardo 3 for 3 on that opening drive. And now on the return here, Johnson, a little bit of room, and look at him go. What a response. He'll find midfield, and here he goes to the 40, to the 30. Will they catch him? Just there. Oh, Johnson. Almost a house call. 87-yard return from Johnny Johnson III.
Whole special teams help here with this return team. He's going to get the blocks he needs. Johnny Johnson is really not touched on this sideline return between the numbers and the sideline. He is gone straight speed. Doesn't have to break the tackle. That's good.
Response for the Riders. Trevor Harris onto the field, having a fabulous season himself, and he starts first and goal on the Edmonton 9. Wally Conley in and running back. They'll give it to him. Conley pushing down to the 5, and we stopped right at about the 3-yard line. They'll give him 6 on that first carry. Let's take a look at the Riders' offense.
Zach Fry is out up front. Daniel Johnson will play left guard in his spot out of Purdue. And then you look in that receiving core. Keon Schaefer-Baker, a big part of last week, but one change. Sam Emilus was a late scratch here, and Daniel Weave will play at the wide receiver spot. Del Duncan Busby will take Sam Emilus' spot, and you've mentioned Conway.
Tommy Stevens into the game. Trevor Harris to the top of your screen. Tommy Stevens, 5 touchdowns on the year. Looking for a 6. Got it! Is he there? Look close. And they're going to say just short for Tommy Stevens. But you just do it with him again?
You're down here with Tommy Stevens with a 4-yard average and short yardage play.
Gotta give it to him.
I think you give him one more crack at it.
Boy, I thought he was almost there the first time.
I'll tell you what, though, this decision by Corey Mays fires up a defense.
Stevens again to finish the job, pushing ahead. This time he's there. Touchdown, Riders! What a start to this rematch between Saskatchewan and Edmonton.
There were 8 lead changes in the matchup between these two teams last week at Mosaic Stadium. We've already seen 2 in the first 2 drives. What a response. Kicked off by Johnny Jackson III on that big return. An 87-yarder. And wow, we're back on the roller coaster.
Pretty good roar from Riders fans. Absolutely. Here in attendance as well. To tie it at 7. And you can settle in here for your Saturday night. Tommy Stevens, 6th touchdown of the year. How about his 36th career rushing touchdown? And the Riders with an immediate bounce back.
Well, back up fullback Albert Awachi gets the key block. You have to have that block at the point of attack. There's Awachi, number 41. Watch the kick out right here. That's the block to seal any inside pursuit on Johnny Johnson, and he is gone after that initial block. You need one right at the point of attack, right where you catch the ball. Make that first cut. They get it from Awachi, and away goes Johnson.
Kobe Williams making the touchdown-saving tackle on that one. Did not matter. Riders finish it in the hands of Tommy Stevens. There was a penalty for making contact with an official on Noah Taylor of the Elks. And the Riders will be ready to kick it away here as we near the midway point of a fabulous opening quarter. Leak takes it inside his own end zone. Finds the 20, pushes it out. Here goes Leak. Another good return as he stopped just short of the 35. Cody Fajardo, what can you say about this guy?
Well, his getting on the road, hostile territory, tough to get the snap count when you're the visiting team at Mosaic Stadium, and the explosion plays were the big difference. Now, the Riders, on their side of it, have talked all week about communication breakdowns in the back end, that they got to be better at that. They had a couple of busts. Cody Fajardo found them. I'm sure they'll make the corrections.
25 big plays for Edmonton's offense this year. That's 3rd in the league. We're going to go on the ground. This time it's gobbled up immediately by the Riders front. Adams, among others, in there. Cody Fajardo, some elite company here.
Oh, absolutely. How about this name on there? Congratulations, Montreal with another win. And yeah, Cody Fajardo, when you take a look at those explosion plays that you mentioned, he had 4 versus the Riders. And this is from the guy that everybody says is just a check down quarterback.
A game manager.
Come on. 510 is not a game manager.
2nd and 10 for Cody. He'll be wanting to throw here, and he will. Down the field, and that is broken up. Austin Mack went up for it. Could not haul it in.
It looked like Marcus Sales may have had a crack at this, cutting underneath this throw. He goes to high point it, maybe just distracted Mac, but how about the accuracy from Cody just to give Austin Mack a chance at it?
Hit him in the hands.
With that coverage coming underneath.
You're right about the distraction. Hey, right before that ball arrives, a couple of hands.
And right in the face.
Weeb is back to return here for the Riders. Good kick from Julian. That's going to back him up. 67-yard punt. Weeb. Ended. Oh, that's a heavy blow just outside the 20 from the rookie, Jabome. I think we've got a physical one here today, Suits.
I think so.
A lot on the line.
Did you take the over?
No comment.
The CFL on TSN is brought to you in part by The Score Bet, an official gaming partner of the CFL.
A lot of talk this week about the crowd opening the Upper Bowl over 30,000, and it has lived up to the hype, hasn't it, Suits?
Yeah, absolutely, and everyone excited about the rematch from last week. But also this 6-1 football team that they're proud of again here in Edmonton.
If you build it, they will come. First and 10 for the Riders from their own 21. On the ground. Stopped short. Opportunity for Quali Conley again. We've seen him a couple of times this year with A.J. Ouellette a little bit banged up.
Yeah, A.J. Ouellette will miss his third game of the season. Was put on the sixth game. That can't come off early if he's ready. But Quali Conley played pretty well. Had just under a 6-yard average in his touches when he played in those first two games for A.J. Ouellette.
Got a yard there, so it's 2nd and 9. Elks in 4. Harris has some time, gets it away. Tackle made, smack dab at the 30. Into the hands of Weeb for the 8 yards, but it'll be 3rd and short.
Now the Riders offensively are going to miss Sam Emilus. There's no question about that. But Daniel Weeb is going to line up at the line of scrimmage in this bunch formation, basically. Well, it's not a bunch, but back-to-back stacked formation out there for the receivers. And what an opportunity for Daniel Weeb. He's been doing a good job in the special teams and return game. Gets a chance to play receiver tonight.
3rd and inches. Tommy time again, and he's got it. Garnes will try to hold on to him. Good luck with that. Let's take a look at the Edmonton D.
Noah Taylor leads this group with 3 quarterback sacks. Got that long reach out of North Carolina. Also played at the University of Virginia. Dariel Jabome is settling in at that middle linebacker spot for Nick Anderson. Led the team in tackles last week. And I say we just give the defensive nomination out of Edmonton this year to Cordell Jackson. I mean, take a look at one day. Go online and look at his stat line.
I got it for you.
There is numbers all the way across there.
31 tackles, 2 picks, 7 knockdowns, forced fumble, 2
crazy,
2 tackles for a loss. Harris in trouble, and they're going to get there and take him down. Kenneth Logan, his 2nd sack of the season.
Looked like Daniel Johnson, basically in a tight end formation here, is going to actually, he must have reported, because he's going to look like he runs a route, and off the edge, Logan just says, okay, well, I'm going to go one-on-one on Conley. And if you're wondering how A.J. Ouellette will be missed, and this is not to blame Connolly on the play, but he's excellent in protection when it comes to the passing game.
A 2nd and long. They'll try to set the screen on the far side. They'll get back to the 35 into the hands of Duncan Busby. But the Riders will be forced to punt after picking up just 9 on that one.
Yes, that's minimize the damage play, and maybe if you break a couple of tackles, you get the first, but you don't want to have 2 negative plays stacked on each other and then end up with real bad field position to kick it.
Chapman stands on his 20. Leak lurking back just inside the Edmonton 30. High kick, end over end. going to bounce and head out of bounds. Leak, no opportunity to get that one. Fajardo will have the ball when we return to Commonwealth. Commonwealth is certainly buzzing tonight. Massive crowd. A lot of Rider fans in the house as well, but it's a good feeling here in Edmonton. For more on that, let's send it down to Tom Gazzola.
Yeah, Dusty, a lot of Green Rider fans here, but a lot of green in the house, and it's nice to see this building full. Again, it's been a tough 5 years for the green and gold, but with this hot start, 6-1 out of the gate, the vibe is palpable, and people are talking about this team, and there's buzz in the city, especially after wins against BC, Montreal, and last week's shootout victory in Regina. That has given a huge boost to the vibe around this team, and this city is ready for this team to be back on track in its winning ways. Guys, it's just nice to see, and we'll see if this continues. Chris Morris said that they opened up the upper deck because demand for tickets were so good. Winning helps, and we'll see where it goes from here.
How about Ed Hervey on the pregame with the panel as well?
Yeah, you gotta, if you didn't see it and you missed it, you gotta get it offline, because that was quite the interview.
This drive will start on the Elks 23. Fajardo. Little bit of pressure coming. Gets it away. Too much juice on that one. Was looking for Mack, but it falls incomplete.
Yeah, he was in between the underneath coverage and the deep player, but just missed on the throw. Think about this crowd. You go back to 2015 to 18, over 30,000. And as Ed Hervey said in that interview, the norm here was well over 30,000. For sure lower bowl. So they're getting back to that. Put a team on the field they can be proud of and not surprised at all, this historic franchise.
2nd and 10 here for Fajardo. Goes over the middle, and that's a completion out beyond the 45 as he guns it into the hands of Cephas, his 17th catch of the year.
They love this bender route. He's the inside receiver. Push his man deep. Right over top the linebackers. 23-yard gain for Cephas.
Fajardo's 4 of 6, 59 yards early in this one. Cephas had a 97-yard game earlier in the season. Now Fajardo over the middle again. Another completion down inside the 40. This time it's his go-to guy, Austin Mack. 27 more yards.
Got Javon Leak in the backfield as a change-up and a threat in that bubble screen in that last play. And Fajardo uses him as a decoy in the play action. Another bender route.
Leak in on this drive for Edmonton, and now they'll give him a toss. Finds the 40, tripped up down inside the 35. He's got some pep in his step today. Here's what Austin Mack has done recently. Is that good?
Yeah. Well, you don't have to be real good at Matt to say 4 games for over 400 yards. That's over 100 yards a game.
It is.
Yeah, that's real good. That chemistry they built in Montreal is back here.
2nd and 6. Julian Grant goes up and gets it. That's another first down. And Edmonton marches on.
Right now, Cody's getting great protection in the pocket. Fajardo is able to go to his 2nd and 3rd progression. Watch this protection up front. He's in that pocket, sitting comfortably. No one in his face, no hands in his face. And even though there was pretty good coverage on that throw, he could put it right where he needed to.
They creep into the red zone. Do the Elks. 4 options out to the right for Fajardo. Now he's on the run. Cody's going to take it himself with a slide. Just outside the 15. Short pickup.
And an excellent decision to get down early and line for second down.
That comes with years of experience, right?
Well, you don't need to take that extra hit.
He's taken a few pops over the last decade. Not that time. Got 3 yards, 2nd and 7. Final play of the opening quarter, and it's been a good one. Riders send 4. Fajardo with time, finds Leak, and what a tackle. Tries to spin off of it, but nowhere to go. Marcus Sales read that extremely well. And Edmonton will likely have to settle for a field goal attempt when we come back. Tailgate was rocking earlier. Commonwealth. Packed house for the Riders and the Elks. Welcome back to Edmonton. The time now for the Fisher Investment stat of the game. And it's been an air show across the league so far this season.
Yeah, first third of the season, 31 times a quarterback has thrown over 300 yards. 10 times over 400, once over 500, Cody Fajardo. And as a former defensive back, ouch.
Look away, Suits. As a play-by-play guy, give me more. Yeah, I love this air show. It's been great so far.
It really has, and the CFL has been averaging 60 points per game. Quarterback efficiency rating as high as it's ever been in the over 100-year history of this league this year.
Cody Fajardo with 3 300-yard games. Trevor Harris with 4 300-yard games. Here's last week's hero, Vincent Blanchard. 57 yards to win it last week. This one just from 24 for a 3-point lead here early in the quarter. And he knocks it through. Near perfect so far this season. It was 7-7 after the first quarter. What jumps off the page for you here?
Well, I still think they're going to kind of lean on Justin McInnes from the Edmonton point of view. We'll see how much Connolly is used in this offense. I'm sure the score will help to dictate that a little bit. Time of possession pretty even, and a couple of lead changes. A little slower pace in the scoring department than we saw last week.
I think we would be stunned, though, right, Suits, if either team really pulled away comfortably.
Yeah, no. This is going down to the wire. You know that.
Well, the last 4 meetings between these two teams were decided by 2 points, 2 points, 4 points, and 3 points. So they only know how to play close football games. Here's Harris. And he's got a completion up to the 50. Schaefer Baker for the first time this evening got his hands on the ball.
I mentioned those explosion plays last week. Harris had 3 of his own. He threw for just shy of 400 in that game last week. And right now is on pace for a 6,000-yard passing season. I know it's early. It's only the first.
We're not that early.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at week 10 and, you know, on pace for a 6,000-yard season. That hasn't happened very often.
Close to 4 yards on that first down carry, and it'll set up a second and manageable for the Riders here, close to midfield.
I saw an interview with Paulie Connolly this week where he talked about wanting to be a little more patient on some of the runs and let his offensive line pick up the angles, pick up the blocks they want, and then he would play off of that. He thought in his first couple of starts, he felt like he was rushing it to the line of scrimmage a little.
2nd and 6 for Harris. 3 options out to his left, looks to his right, now over the middle, almost taken away, but it's held on to by Schaefer Baker. What a bounce! And now he'll take it down to the 30 and step out of bounds. Right place, right time, Schaefer Baker.
Well, first of all, Paulie Connolly makes a key block or this play never happens. Trevor Harris gets hit in the backfield. That's one. Secondly, this is about concentration. This is about just wherever the ball ends up, whoever makes a play on it defensively, whoever's trying to cut underneath, just keep your concentration, keep looking at it, keep focused in a 27-yard game.
Garnes had his hands on it. Johnson, first time tonight. He's got it, pushes it ahead. Tackle made by Jackson. Close to another first down, couple yards short.
Let's go back one more time to that Schaefer Baker catch, and just want to show you this pickup by Connolly. This is the question for me when it comes to the difference between he and A.J. Ouellette. That's picking up the blitz up the middle and allowing Trevor Harris to throw the football. It works out. Garnes doesn't make the catch. Schaefer Baker does. Works out for the Riders, but that block was key.
The visitors in business. 2nd and 3 from the Edmonton 22. High snap. Tommy Stevens has it. He's going to push it ahead down inside the 20, and that should be a first down for the Riders. You see Tommy Stevens averaging, you said it, 4 yards per carry. Just essentially is a short yardage guy. They put him out there in a 2nd and 3, and he picks it up.
Well, I think we can add to his resume now, short yardage guy and kill the clock at the end of game guy when you have the lead. Because he will do that on plays that you just saw where he'll fake it to that tailback up the middle and then follow him to get 4 or 5 yards.
Riders back into the red zone, 76% on the year coming in. Of course, no Emilus today. 5 touchdowns on the season. He has Harris down to the 5. And that one into the hands of Duncan Busby. And Duncan Busby expecting to see more action today with Emilus out of the lineup.
Yeah, well, Duncan Busby is going to move to Emilus's spot, and that's a hot spot. That's an inside receiver slots position where you're often in the short side of the field. He's in between. They put 3 into the boundary on this play, and he's going to be that in-between receiver who sits down between the defense, pushed by Schaefer Baker to take a couple of defenders with him on the deep run.
First and goal from the Edmonton 2. Tommy Stevens in there again, trying to push it through. This time they stop him just short, but they'll likely reload and go at it again.
Like Jabome stepped in there. I mentioned him in the intros. That middle linebacker playing for Nick Anderson. Injured a few weeks back. It's taken some time to settle in, but look at him scrape and then just make contact and hang on to Tommy Stevens until his friends could get there.
Now from the 1. 2nd and goal. Stevens pushing ahead right over the middle. Touchdown Riders. Tommy's got 2. And Saskatchewan goes on top. He's a cheat code.
Yeah, he's nice to have in your fantasy. I tell you that, because he's going to get the football inside the 5-yard line. Awachi key on this as well at that right, basically tight end spot. He turns Noah Taylor away, so he can't get inside leverage and get lower than Tommy Stevens, but he is a bull fighting through that line of scrimmage.
7 rushing touchdowns on the season for the big fella.
Looks like he has fun doing it too. You know,
I think he enjoys that role.
Some quarterbacks look at that role and go, not a big fan. Not him.
It was an 8-play, 70-yard drive, finished off by Tommy Stevens. Once again, the best in the biz from a yard out.
After the play, we have 2 misconduct fouls. A 15-yard misconduct foul against 66 Saskatchewan, and a 10-yard misconduct foul against 42 Edmonton. This is Edmonton 42's 2nd misconduct penalty, and he's been disqualified from the game.
Wow. Welcome back to Commonwealth. Noah Taylor has been ejected from the game. And we believe Killam might have just got flagged as well. This is a big loss. He's got 3 sacks on the season. Let's give it another look at it.
Ball's going through. Just take a look at the right side of the line here, and there's Jacob Brammers. That's the push from the Rider end.
It's been a 10-yard misconduct foul against the Edmonton bench. It's a 10-yard penalty. We'll apply that on the kickoff.
Well, I don't know what Taylor did there.
Other than
like sell the call?
Sell it, yeah. Other than embellishment.
All right, we've been told that it actually was for embellishment, and he's been ejected. When was the last time you saw that?
Not often. If you get 2 personal fouls, you're out. It doesn't matter the degree of the personal foul, but...
Well, then Mark Killam was obviously frustrated. He took a penalty. And now they'll try to settle in and regroup. Some adversity here for the Elks. Noah Taylor ejected from the game. Contact on the official earlier. And then embellishment there. I don't know if we've ever said a player's been ejected for a contact on an official and then embellishment.
No, and now you saw Corey Mace talking to Jacob Brammer on the sideline. He's making sure that he knows he's got 1 personal foul now. If he gets a second, he's gone as well. And I would suggest when we get to the halftime mark here, both these coaches will be talking about their teams about discipline. And let's see what happens here. Big time
flags on the play as Javon Leake is demolished in front of the Edmonton bench on a 35-yard.
During return, illegal block. Edmonton number 99, 10-yard penalty.
All right, so the only penalty here, and the 2 sides did come together on the Edmonton sideline, but it's an illegal block, and that's going to back Edmonton up with 9:42 on the clock here in the first half. And the pace of this game has slowed here with a couple of the penalties that have popped up.
Well, the officials had to meet for quite a lengthy bit of time there to figure out if there was a double personal foul.
Fajardo gives it to Rankin. Rankin pushing it ahead. And he'll take it out just shy of the 30. 5 yards for number 5 in green and gold.
Yeah, the extra stuff, though, I know both coaches will talk about this and make sure that their players understand. It's one thing to be physical, and everybody likes that brand of football, and when you don't like the opponent, that's fine too. But the after the whistle stuff will get you beat.
Edmonton 5 for 7 on second down tonight. This is a second and mid. Fajardo looks to his right. Pressure coming, and the Riders get there, and they'll take him down. Sanders and Waters both there.
Yeah, Caleb Sanders is lined up over Mark Corte, the center. He's right in that 4-point stance, 2 hands on the ground, and he's coming out of that backfield, the rip move, and then continues on. Hard rip move with that right arm underneath Corte, and down goes Cody Fajardo.
Second 2-0 to the game for Edmonton. Julian averaging just under 49 yards per kick. This is another boomer. Weaves got it back way up. Little bit of a bobble. That's a 67-yard kick, and now a flag. Weave breaks 1 tackle, and he'll take it out just beyond the 30, but there was a flag early in the return. It's against the Riders, and we've got more pushing and shoving. Oh, it's a good one, Pruitt, here at Commonwealth. Don't go anywhere. Where would you rather be? Well, nothing better than a healthy season for Kean Schaefer-Baker.
Yeah, just incredible. Couple touchdowns in each of the last 2 games. 8 catches, 185 in the game last week against the Elks. You know, and for me, the stat that maybe is the coolest of all of them is the money catches. When they need a first down, when they need to move the chains, he leads the league, in fact, or second in the league, but leads his team in those second down conversion catches.
Look at Tyson Philpott. Yeah. Over 1,000 yards already. Schaefer-Baker smack dab in between a couple of Philpotts. Having a great season for Trevor Harris and the Riders. 1st and 10 from their 15. Harris over the middle. His running back down the field. Had a good look at it too, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He saw the safety, Jalen Garnes, move, and Trevor Harris, with his drop, moved the safety and Garnes to the wide side of the field. He comes in there late, but he may have distracted Connolly just enough.
Conley with 3 catches in his first couple of games. Riders are 3 for 6 on second down so far tonight. Midway point, second quarter. Packed house at Commonwealth. Harris, does he go over the middle again? No time. Bounces off of the tackle, pushing it ahead. And he's wrapped up before he can find a first down marker. That's Robbie Smith who gets the job done. He'll play more because Noah Taylor's out of the game.
Exactly. He's a rotation player for Noah Taylor. They will go in and out depending on the series. So Robbie Smith will see a ton of reps in this game. Down at the bottom of your screen, and he's going to work his way. He goes the long way to get this one. He goes up the field, he comes back around, cuts underneath, and he catches Trevor Harris on the other side of the formation.
First 2 and out of the game for the Riders. Leak and Luther wait back at their 40. Cabin. Almost by Leak, but he picks it back up, and he's hammered down. Couple of interesting moments there for the usually steady Javon Leak. Waited for it right through his arms. Edouard couldn't get there in time. Edmonton out to their best start since 7-0 back in 2017. For more on that, here's Tom Gazzola.
Yeah, that was a roller coaster ride of a season for the Double E that year, and they started the year 7-0, like you mentioned, Dusty. They went on a 6-game losing streak. Then they rattle off 5 straight wins to end the season, go into Winnipeg, win the West semifinal, and then lose to Calgary in the West final. Of course, Michael Riley was on that team. We had Jason Moss as head coach. Brock Sunderland was the GM, but that team had Ed Hervey's fingerprints all over it.
Good field position here for Edmonton. Rankin contacted well back of the line of scrimmage. Couldn't make anything out of that one, and they lose 2 yards.
Yeah, the conventional way to get the ball to Justin Rankin, how they did it early in the season, you know, there's been a game plan, basically, I think, created a little bit by the BC Lions in their 2 games against Rankin and the Elks. And Larry Orange is in there. They're trying to get him to help out in the blocking schemes. On the other side, you've got Luther trying to help out there. Not getting it done.
Fajardo in his second and long. A deep drop. Gets it out to O'Leary. Orange cuts it back, pushing it ahead. He'll get to midfield. Not enough. And that'll be a 3rd down for the Elks. And they'll be forced to kick it away once more.
One thing about this Elks team, though, we talked about in the pregame, was they found different ways to win. When Rankin's not going, their defense has stepped up. Played great in the 3 wins in the middle of the early part of this season. And then last week, the passing game, the aerial attack from Cody Fajardo. One thing that maybe he has as a superpower over a lot of players is his resilience. Bouncing around in teams.
Playing with a chip on his shoulder.
No question.
High kick into the waiting arms of Reed, and he's barreled back just outside the 10. And that is where Trevor Harris will get the ball late in the half. Leonard Johnson with the special teams tackle.
So not a bad half so far for Wally Conley playing for A.J. Ouellette. Showed you a real good blitz pickup. And this is the injury to Ouellette. See his knee. That was last week. So he is now on the 6-game injured list. As I mentioned off the top, they could pull him off early
after
if he
the play.
recovers
10 yards, objectional conduct, misconduct foul against Saskatchewan number 22. It's full 10 yards. First down.
DeMarcus Fields guilty of that. Both coaches at halftime here are going to settle down.
Yeah, you've got to, because you're losing players. I mean, there's a couple of personal fouls hanging on a couple of riders right now. That was one of them you just heard for DeMarcus Fields. But also Jacob Brammer has one. You get another, you're gone.
After the penalty, Harris stands in his own end zone. Drive will start on the Rider, too. They'll hand it off. Conley bouncing off a tackle. Still going. Goes those are important yards right there from Paulie Conley.
Yeah, good 1-2 effort there from Conley. You know, and I don't think any Rider fans are concerned about when he gets the ball in his hands, that he'll know what to do with it. We saw a good example of that, even though they're a little bit short. That's good yards on first down over again. Give Trevor Harris a chance to convert here and stay on the field.
Commonwealth crowd trying to get in Harris's head. Goes near side. Keyshawn Johnson. Might have been a drop straight up. Ford was there. Not sure if he got a hand on it or not.
I think because we're so surprised, Keyshawn Johnson may have dropped one, that I don't think Terrell Ford was there early.
Oh, he might have punched it out with that right hand.
He came through and helped Johnson lose the handle there, but it looked like he took a peek up the field.
I was very stunned when Johnson just didn't hang on to that thing.
Just not used to that.
With the season he's had. Now Luther and Leak stand right at midfield. Chapman kicking out of his own end zone. Good kick. And taken on the near sideline by Leak. 55-yard kick, and Edmonton will take over close to the logo at midfield with just under 3.5 to play, trailing by 4 here in the first half.
That is an outstanding punt. To put it that close to the sideline without kicking it out and make Javon Leak play it the way he did, almost impossible to get a big return when you're into the sideline that close.
Leak will stay out there with the offense. So Rankin, at least for now, will watch from the sideline. Leak has 1 carry so far in the game, went for 4 yards. First and 10 from their own 53, and there are whistles and flags as that ball is snapped.
Procedure. Edmonton number 68. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
That is Jordan Murray, the guilty party.
There's a little bit of movement, not just with Murray on that line. It was a show blitz look from the Saskatchewan defense. They had 6 in the line of scrimmage and then dropped 2 out of there.
This is the 3-minute warning.
We have hit the 3-minute warning here in Edmonton. It's the first place Elks, second place Riders. Locked in a good one on Saturday night.
Panel coming up at the half. Milt believes that both these QBs are playing it safe at the moment. We got ourselves a 4-point football game. And you know what? Everything's been so fantastic today. You know who needs to play ball, though? Mother Nature.
What?
Come on, Mother Nature. Come on.
Where's
nice.
Father Nature?
We're basically
there are some dark clouds out there, Suits.
Yeah, but we're saying, we've said in the commercial, we're not going to look at it. If we don't look at it, it won't happen.
Just forget about it. There's been barely any rain in Edmonton over the last couple of months.
Yeah, I've heard it's been tough here.
Record-setting stuff there. First and 15 on the 48. Fajardo felt some pressure, has a man wide open on the far side of the field. Now there's a flag. Julian Grant spins his way to a first down. I believe this flag is against the Riders as well.
Major foul, roughing the passer. Saskatchewan number 98. 15 yards out at the end of the play. And it's first down.
Desmond Evans.
Yeah, that's Desmond Evans. He's gonna run a little game up front with Mike Rose, and now he's in the B gap, and yeah, you can't do that.
That was a big blow.
Yeah. Ball's out, can't do that.
Ball sits on the Rider 30. As Edmonton looks for points late here in the half. Trailing by 4 at home. Fajardo, pressure in his face, throws to the end zone, incomplete. Fajardo is hammered again as well. He's looking for Luther, working against Edouard, and they'll have to do it again, 2nd and 10.
Well, I don't blame Fajardo for going to TJ Luther. He had a breakout game last week with over 150 yards receiving, his best game as a pro in the CFL, and try to test Jonathan Edouard out here. He ends up, the high player, number 31 Edouard, is going to turn. Now it's basically man-to-man, but he does a nice job of turning back to the football. Go back, find it, you won't get the PI call.
Edmonton already in field goal range, 2nd and 10. Pressure right up the middle. Fajardo dumps it off, and they'll wrap him up. Leak is taken down for a big loss on the play, and things just got a little bit more interesting for Vincent Blanchard.
Boy, that looked like it was set up nicely. A little screen play out there to Javon Leak, and you get him some space, and you know what kind of speed he has. Roberson's playing off the edge. More on that as the game goes on, but this one was just great recognition from Mike Rose to hustle over, read the play, and get there in the backfield.
Blanchard from 44 to make it a 1-point game. And that is up, and it is in. Edmonton cuts into the Riders' lead with 2:26 on the clock here in the first half.
Lots of time for Trevor Harris here. Over 2 minutes. Trevor Harris will tell you if he had 2 minutes last week, the Riders probably
that would have been enough,
to win the way that game went back and forth.
As long as you have the ball last, you should be in a pretty good spot here tonight. Harris is 6 of 8 for 78 yards. It's not been a big first half for Trevor Harris, but he's got more time to cook right here. Silence the crowd once more. Schaefer Baker in the slot to his left. He's going to slide up and come in the block. Slides out. Harris under one man, not another. Brinkman finishes the job. And he'll get that belly rub going.
Malik Carney is the guy who makes the play, though. Brinkman will get the stat. Malik Carney gets the assist. He's going to be right here off the edge, and watch how he squeezes it down and then gets contained. That turns Trevor Harris back up to where Malik Carney's friends are. And that's a team meeting, defensive team meeting, right at number 7.
Second sack of the season for Brinkman. 2nd and 13 for Harris. Edmonton will send 5. Harris out into the flat. And Schaefer Baker broke the first tackle. Needed 13, not going to get it. Actually, it's Johnny Johnson who they went to that time. Well, and he only got 6.
Second quarter doesn't both teams' defenses stepping up. Couple 2-and-outs from Edmonton, created by Saskatchewan's defense. Big play by Mike Rose on the last series. Now Edmonton's definitely got time, but his defense is playing pretty well in this second quarter.
Chapman, first-year punter out of Auburn for the Riders. Boots this away from his own 3rd and 2. Leak will take it cleanly after a 47-yard kick. He's got nowhere to go down the field quickly. Jackson Ford. It's a new season of breathtaking spectacle, shocking betrayal, and explosive drama. HBO's House of the Dragon. Stream now, only on Crave.
Many were describing last week's game between these two teams as breathtaking spectacles.
Just like that. Just like essentially the same thing.
Same deal.
This drive will start on the 23 for Edmonton. 3 receivers, wide side left for Fajardo. That's where he's going to go. And that one incomplete over the hands of Cephas. And it was trouble there for a little bit.
Well, you take a look at this defense, and Cody Fajardo is going to go and look at the tablets look at what the defense for Saskatchewan's been doing. They've been playing a lot of cover 2 or cover 2 man, which is 2 high players and man-to-man underneath. So you take away those little 4 or 5 yard curl routes, but if you go deep on a double move, you got help over the top. There's your 2 deep defenders. Now it's the end of the half, so they're playing off.
2nd and 10 for Fajardo. And that tackle is made nicely as he gets it into the hands of O'Leary Orange, but Antoine Brooks right there, just a yard, and now they're going to have to kick it back to the Riders.
Now the way that you can beat that type of defense when you've got 2 high players is with your run game, your quarterback running. Often underneath you've got bump and run coverage, so you've got defensive backs and linebackers with your back to the quarterback. And if he takes off and runs, and Cody Fajardo can do that, that's one way. Another way is to split those deep defenders down the middle.
Jake Julian called back into work once more as the clock ticks down to 60 seconds. Weeb waits, now takes, and he is gobbled up immediately. Terrell Ford. Wow.
Yeah, if you're starting defensive back in Canadian football, as Jackson Ford on the last punt from Saskatchewan will tell you, or Terrell Ford on this punt, no relation, will tell you, you got to play special teams as well.
Ford came blistering in there. And now he'll settle back in at corner, matching up against Weeb, who he just blew up on special teams. From the 27, Harris lays it out. Johnny Johnson nowhere to go. Same play that they ran just a few moments ago as the breeze starts to pick up here at Commonwealth.
Don't look at it. Don't look at it.
I gotta say, I noticed a pretty significant temperature drop right there. It has cooled down here on Saturday in Edmonton.
Now we're gonna look at it.
2nd and 10 for Trevor Harris. 8 of 10 so far in the game. Draw to Conley. Conley with a good burst. Will it be enough? No. And this is beyond Tommy Stevens' territory. They'll kick it away late in the half.
Yeah, these last 3-4 series for both teams have been 2 and outs. Yeah, defensively, especially on first down, these teams have basically bent their knees, bowled their neck, and start hitting.
Time for Javon Leake to maybe break one more. He's back there with Luther. Chapman will let this clock tick down. Panel coming up live from Commonwealth at the half. As the rain starts to pour down here in Edmonton. Leake will take it out of bounds, and that will do it for the opening half here in Edmonton. We expected a tight one. We've got a tight one.
Yeah, we got a tight one. A little different script than last week, of course. Both quarterbacks started this game with long drives that ended in touchdowns. Both teams got good returns to start those first drives. It started 7-all, and then the defense has stepped up in the second quarter. Good tackling from the Edmonton secondary. Tommy Stevens with a couple of touchdowns in that first half.
Tommy Stevens, his 6th and 7th rushing touchdowns of the year. And he stands by with our Tom Gazzola.
All right, Tommy, a lot of smash mouth football in that first half. Right up your alley, I'm assuming. What do you like about it?
I mean, just battle 2 great football teams. Got to come out in the second half, keep executing, and hope to come out with a win.
What can you say about the animosity between these two teams that's developing? I know people that are fans of these two teams love the rivalry, but you guys on the field, how you feeling it?
Yeah, I mean, we're both built very similarly. Tough, physical, big, strong teams. So, yeah, we just got to keep going in the second half.
All right, thanks, Tommy. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, Tommy Stevens Roughriders and the Riders up 14-13 on the Elks. Let's send it over to Kate, Enoch, Milt, and Davis.
You know what, Tom? I love your city, but if you could make mention of Mother Nature that this isn't fun right now, that would be absolutely lovely, but we still have a great football game. It's a one-point football game. Back alongside Enoch, Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, Milt Stegall.
Is Tom Gazzola related to Tommy Stevens? That's backup quarterback doesn't usually get interviewed at halftime.
Yeah, but it's Tommy Stevens. I mean,
well, he might be related. I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm wondering. Backup quarterback, I'm wondering.
I don't know. Yeah, a kicker got dog of the week, so anything is possible when it comes to the CFL, if I'm honest with you. You know, it's a low-scoring game, and it's tight, and I think there are certain flashes of the game, but a little slower, I would say, than last week's game, but it picked up at the end. But let's talk about these defenses, why not? And look, both of these defenses are doing a fantastic job right now at containing the QBs, but overall, what do you like, Chezzy?
Yeah, I'm looking at Sask. If you entered this week on either of these defenses, you're seeing these quarterbacks doing what they're doing. You're going to do one thing. You're trying to take away the yak yardage, take away the yards after catch. Both these teams are excellent right now at catching the ball, making plays, and getting downfield. That's why they had so much success in the last few weeks. Sask is doing an excellent job right now of keeping everything in front of them and then tackling. And that's the thing that stood out to me. Both teams, I think you mentioned that you think the quarterbacks are a little bit conservative. Right. I think the defenses their number one job right now is to try to keep things in front of them because of the success of these quarterbacks. I just think Sask's doing an excellent job, in particular this explosive receiving core and what Cody's been doing, but just trying to keep them in front. You got to tackle. You play zone coverage, you got to tackle.
You talk about how tight the game has been played right now. What happens sometimes when you're playing back-to-back games, right? This is the reason why it's tight. They just played last week. A lot of the things are exactly the same. It's tough to adjust in a short week like this. But this defense is doing a really good job on the Edmonton Elks already. Coming in, we knew that they took the ball over. They turned the ball over 22 times. They led the league. And so now you're looking at, okay, how are we going to force Trevor Harris to make a mistake? And this is what's going to happen. But at the end of the day, guys have to show up. Two guys in particular that I'm looking at have made a really good impression on the game already is Malik Carney as well as Terrell Ford. These two guys have been fabulous. You see right there, Jared Brinkman got the sack, but Malik Carney's ability to react to Trevor Harris, play the run first, then get to Trevor Harris, that is why they made that play. But those two guys, between those two guys, Malik is probably going to force a turnover, but Terrell Ford is probably going to be on the receiving end as well.
Teamwork, dreamwork there, Enoch. You got to love it. Milt, let's talk about these QBs and phenomenal performances a week ago. But all of a sudden, I think both of them, it'll be interesting to see the second half how they come out here. But both of them, as you said, playing very conservative in this first.
In this league, you're either a heavyweight, a light heavyweight, middleweight, a featherweight, or maybe no weight. It just but these two teams are heavyweights. And so far in this first half, it's like they're being cautious about throwing that big punch. Because if you throw that big punch and the other team slips you in counters, you know, it could be costly. Yes, both of these guys are throwing some dimes, and we're expecting that because these guys have been around for a while. They can do that. But we really haven't seen them going for the big one. We saw Cody somewhat end of that half try to make the big play, but we haven't seen it for the most part out of these two guys. The longest completion this half, 27 yards. You remember last week it was fireworks. So I'm looking for these guys to come out in the second half and put up some fireworks to see if they can throw a knockout punch.
Do you think that these defenses are taking the big play away? That's why, or you think they're being cautious?
I think that's part of it. But even if they are, sometimes you just got to take a chance. You got to throw it up, see what your receivers can do. See what Austin Mack or Schaefer Baker, Keyshawn Johnson, see what they can do.
It's funny because we talked about it in the pregame. We said that if you make a mistake because of how efficient the other quarterbacks are, a mistake could be the difference in this game, and maybe that's one of the reasons why as well, just trying to be cautious because they know how efficient the other side of the field is.
It's got to be a big play. Somebody's got to make the big play. It doesn't matter who it is. I'm leaning towards the Edmonton Elks to make a big play to the second half.
I know we have to wait till the end of the game to award Dog of the Week, but Tyrell Ford is having himself a half here too. I mean, he has had such a presence overall, but you're right. Maybe, you know what, we'll see what happens in the second half, but the conservativeness of these two QBs right now, I don't know what's going to happen, but all I know is that Mother Nature just needs to play it cool right now because we're thinking, maybe there might be thunderstorms, but we're just thinking it's not going to happen. Great first half.
You gon' feel it when it comes. You gon' feel it when it comes. Let it bang on the sun like the bass in the drums. Go, 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 go. It ain't never stop. Tell them no, here, go. Go, go, go. It don't never stop. Tell them no, here, go. Go, go, go. It don't
the Blue Bombers. Fourth quarter action, Lions in front. Xander Horvath on second and short, and will take it to the house and pad the lead. A 58-yard house call from Horvath. He had 191 of the Lions, 377 combined rushing yards. Caden Slater, by the way, wins his first CFL start. He was dynamic on the ground, too. 35-19. Your final. Alouettes taking on the Red Blacks. Second quarter action. Owls up by 8. Davis Alexander, deep shot right over the middle to Tyson Philpott. Philpott, already over 1,000 yards this season. Needs only 8 games to reach the milestone now. In the third, Red Blacks, third and goal, Jake Mayer. Going to be intercepted by Josh Archibald. Ottawa went 1 for 5 in the red zone. They stay winless. Stampeders taking on the Tiger Cats. This one earlier today, late in the fourth we go. Stamps up by 17. Trey Ford benched, by the way, for Harrison Frost, who throws it straight to Derek Moncrief. A 25-yard pick six. Ticats continue to struggle without Bo Levi Mitchell. Stamps win at 44-20. Your final. And guess what? We asked that Mother Nature play nice. She is not. It is a downpour right now. We will keep you updated right after this.
Fashion. Take all personal belongings with you.
All right, do you guys want the good news or you want the bad news?
Whoa. Wow. Bad news. I just saw lightning.
Yeah, there is lightning, so there is going to be at least a 30-minute delay, but the system does seem to be moving quite well, which is great. But unfortunately, it will be delayed, so the second half of this game is delayed at least 30 minutes with the Saskatchewan Roughriders currently up by 1. We will keep you completely posted and let you know as soon as this weather day delay wraps up and we get back to game action.
Welcome back to Commonwealth Stadium. We are in a weather delay. All we know right now is 30-minute lightning delay. A little bit windy. Looks like the storm is moving along rather well. So hopefully we don't have to go much beyond the 30. I will say, a week ago tonight, Post Malone and Jelly Roll were in town. They did a show on Friday, went great. Saturday's show got canceled right when Post Malone came on to perform because there was a vicious storm in the city that night. So much so that there were thousands of people, tens of thousands of people jammed in the concourse, and it was 10 times worse than we have right now. So some lightning in the area. We've got the delay.
Well, you didn't call me for Post Malone, first of all. So
I didn't have tickets myself.
We'll talk about that later.
I was working soon.
No, yeah, this is a little bit tougher for the players now. They're going to go in the locker room now. They're going to have a time where they come out early to stretch. So that 30-minute delay will go through, and then they're going to have to give them another, 10 to 15 to stretch, make sure they're loose and prevent as many injuries as possible. There's what we had in the first half. The rain really didn't start until the very end of the first half. So, if it continues into the second, then ball security becomes something that both teams have to be concerned with. But, not a lot of big numbers offensively. Every game is a different journey. And when we look back to last week's game between these two teams, and Cody throwing for over 500 and Trevor Harris throwing for almost 400 yards, both threw for 4 touchdowns, it's been a different script in the first half. That doesn't mean that can't change. We'll see what the weather does. But I think right now at halftime, both these teams and their coaching staffs are saying we've got to control our tempers. We can't be the team that retaliates when it gets physical or someone takes a shot. And that takes great discipline. But it got pretty rough in that first half between these two teams after the whistle. Yeah, we had an ejection for Noah Taylor. There was some stuff that you just don't usually see. Now, that was a big hit on Cody Fajardo there. That ended up drawing a flag as well. Some extracurricular stuff after this attempt there. 10 total penalties in the first half, which did lead to the ejection of Taylor. And just good physical football overall as well. Yeah. Now, how much does the delay just naturally bring down the emotion a little bit, right? It will bring the temperature down, as you mentioned. It will do that. But it's got to be pointed out by both coaches. I'm sure it will be. And, Noah Taylor's out. He's been disqualified because he got 2 personal fouls, 1 for embellishment, which I'm not sure I've seen in my time in the booth to be that one that threw you out of the game. But Jacob Bramer also has 1 personal foul. There's that can't turn into 2 in the second half, or they lose a starting offensive lineman. So the Riders. So yeah, I think discipline important in this second half. If it continues to rain, they're going to talk about ball security and maybe a little more emphasis on the run. Rankin in that first half, 6 touches, 14 yards, did have the 1 TD in that opening drive. Conley, who's playing for A.J. Ouellette, 5 carries for 25 yards. So the run game's not established for both these teams.
You mentioned Rankin and how he's been slowed down a little bit, and I believe you said it's kind of the BC Lions that showed the rest of the league how to do it. What are teams doing when it comes to Justin Rankin?
Well, it's gap cancellation, basically, and there's a lot of different ways to get there, but basically what you want to do, the 2A gaps, strong and weak, are between the center and guard, and then between guard and tackle you have the B gaps, and outside of that is your C gaps. So when you're trying to contain a guy like Justin Rankin, you got to make sure, first of all, you have those gaps covered. If they're not, he can readjust, jump cut, or just flat out speed cut to one of those open, areas, and then he's gone. That's how he makes his big plays. So take care of the gaps. Gap responsibility is the first assignment for these defenses. And, same with Connolly. I think the panel talked about how well the Elks in that first half were tackling. So whether it's the bubble screen or getting Rankin outside or trying to get Javon Leak involved, if you're a good tackler in the open field, you can get those 2 and outs, and it gets that offense off the field.
A lot of momentum coming off that last game for Edmonton, a win in Regina, first of 3 meetings between the 2 teams. By the way, their final meeting is the final game of the regular season in the Canadian Football League. If the Riders win tonight, that could be a game that's for first place in the West. But we see a great crowd here tonight, and well over 30,000. The upper deck is open, and then the storm hits.
Yeah.
Just a major buzzkill for what was probably the best vibes coming into a game here in Edmonton, I'd say in more than half a decade.
Yeah, well, when you think back, it was probably 2015 to 2018 for this team when Michael Riley was in charge of the offense, was when they were back to averaging around 30,000 a game. Another great interview with Ed Hervey with the panel in our pregame show. Check that one out, because he has, along with the rest of the organization, rebuilt a team where this fan base now not only believes in this team, but I think they're proud of it. I think with Cody Fajardo at the helm and how resilient he's been, not only throughout his career, but also throughout this season, where, you lose to BC out in Kelowna, bounce back with 3 straight wins. So I think this is a fan base that says, hey, we're proud of this team. Let's go watch them.
2 3-game winning streaks already this season for Edmonton. They were 1-6 at this time last year. If you're wondering why we've got so much airtime during the delay, they've covered the panel up, and we're going to get to them when we return to a weather delay here at Commonwealth in Edmonton. Riders lead.
As mentioned before, Mother Nature really not playing well with us tonight. Still some dark skies here in Edmonton. A lot of thunder, a lot of lightning as we still wait for this delay to end. And currently the Saskatchewan Roughriders up 14-13, but I'm no meteorologist. The sky does look like it's clearing slightly, but I hear still a lot of thunder, so I have absolutely no idea what that means. Back alongside Enoch, Davis, and Milton. Yes, we've changed positions. We are now sheltering a little bit in place, but we do expect this football game to get going at some point. Enoch, we were just discussing this, and how much of this affects either one of the team, and which team do you believe that this may actually help in the second half, getting a little extra rest and being able to look at a few more things?
You know what? This is a type of game where it's so close. There's no any team that is ahead of anybody. This is going to be about who is going to be able to bounce back, who is mentally tough, to look past the discomfort, to look past obviously the challenges with the environment, but you got to just come back and bounce back and make the right adjustments. I don't think there's any advantage to anybody. It's too close of a game right now. You got to just be able to bounce back.
Situations like this, there's an advantage for the home team because they're in their home locker room. They have all the things they need. So I will give that advantage to the Elks because they are in their own building with the amenities that probably different amenities and better amenities than Saskatchewan has. That's one thing. But also situations like this, I think, Milton, we all understand this. We all played a long time. The advantage or the disadvantage is for the older players. It takes them longer to warm up. And, they're used to, when you're a young guy, you just go out there and run, whatever. If it's 5 minutes, 30 minutes, and they tell you you're going to start, it doesn't really matter. For the older guys, you have your routine, you stay warm, and then you have to get warmed back up. But I do think that it impact the older guys more. I think that's the one thing I said.
Yeah, and honestly, I know where you're coming from, especially when you're talking about older guys. And I've been in that situation before. We had a delay. I think I was like 35, 36, and it took me another 50, 11 minutes to get warmed up. It's not an easy transition. But as far as what team is going to impact, I think because we have two heavyweight teams with two elite quarterbacks, both of them can come out and adjust and not miss a beat. Enoch, you spoke of it. It's a close game. I spoke of it at when we talk about that thing, like who's going to come out and try to throw that first knockout punch. So it's going to be interesting to see how these teams do it. They're going to need to come out and get warmed up, make sure you're acclimated so you can get back out there and play. And we're going to see how this home crowd reacts to it.
You know what the good part is, too? We've been mentioning the crowd so much tonight. Over 30,000 in attendance today. And by the way, too, kudos to a lot of the Rider fans who made the trip here. There is a lot of green, a different shade of green in the stands. But needless to say, a lot of them are still here. So hopefully they all stick around for the second half. By the way, Glenn referenced this. Here is our interview with Ed Hervey earlier that was fantastic. And first of all, congratulations on the start of the season. It's been fantastic. We saw glimpses at the end of last season, but this has pretty much been as good as it gets. With a day like today where we have over 30,000 fans coming in and a rematch of what happened last week, what does this mean to you personally?
Well, see, honestly, like this was one of those bucket list items that I had on my own personal list, was try to get the upper deck reopened. Because in Edmonton, this was normal.
Yep.
So for myself, I'm not walking around like I'm glad they're here and really excited that people are coming out to see this team play, because we have some good people on this team. They just happen to be playing some good football. But as far as people coming out, to me, we're just trying to reestablish the norms here in Edmonton, and a day like today can make that happen.
This is not your first time around, Ed, and you've been here before. You built the championship team and everything. You coming back, you talk about that bucket list and everything. We know what the end of that bucket list ends like with regards to the championship, but how fast did you think you'd get closer to that?
Honestly, in the CFL, things can happen really quickly, as we all know, right? But we're a long ways away from where we expect to be, right? We're talking about we got to build sustainable success here, right? We're not going to be a quick fix football team, but we needed to start fast to re-energize our fan base and to gain confidence within this community. But as far as what our expectations are to continue to sustain this, and we have a lot to go. Like, we're still trying to figure out who we are as a football team, but the team is fighting. They're young, and again, last week was a big step in that direction, but these are the Grey Cup champions that's coming in the building today. So it's how we respond is going to be another step in our maturation as far as our football season is concerned.
The energy around this football team that you used, I believe you used the term reestablishing the norm. So you expect that atmosphere here in this building, but on the field was the most important thing to get that back. I think that's your thought process, was the product on the field. How'd you do that first? Like, what was the thing for you to change the football part first? I know that's your heart, the football part.
Absolutely. It was, I guess the first part was finding out who we had in the locker room, right? Finding out who the leadership was prior to getting here, and then determining whether we wanted those guys leading us or not. And obviously I didn't. So clearly, we were like, hey, we want
Before
to.
you go on, sorry, I want to know. Sorry, how did you do that? Like,
you want to know? You want to know the process?
Just peel the curtain back a little bit.
Hey, this is a family show. It's a family show.
People.
Ed, I know how you are.
I'm going to give you the straight goods. First, I asked the people in the building.
Right.
Okay, the community programs. Who gives you a hard time with the community? And they roll out the names. And then I say, okay, who doesn't show up to the community stuff on time?
Wow.
Then I roll through that. Then I go in the locker room and I say, guys, you don't have to say nothing. We're going to walk around. I'm going to point at the name, and your body language is going to tell me everything else I need to know about the people who are here. Wow. Okay? So we walked around the room, and it was like, meh. I started unscrewing their
nameplates.
Started taking their nameplates off. Then a couple of them, they said, hey, these guys are good guys, young, just need certain people out of the room, et cetera, et cetera. I'll get those people out of the room as well. Don't worry about that. I love it. So then I talked to those guys, and I said this is honest. I says, tell me what the problems are. And the guys get quiet. Guys get quiet. They don't know me. And I said, well, I look at it two ways when you walk out of this room. Either you're part of the solution or you were part of the problem. Yep. So you better give me the goods. Right. And they start spilling. And I said, okay. He said, it doesn't go anywhere from here because what I'm trying to do here is establish Edmonton Eskimo football. And I know that pisses people off, but this is the Eskimo way that you've seen here. This isn't anything beyond that. We believe in the people that we have. We've got people, the process, good people, good process, good results. And if you have bad people in your room or people that are selfish or it's me first, you can't win with those guys because when you hit a dip, they're the first people that are complaining. We played with those guys, guys. You played with those guys. We already know. So I look at my team and say, do I want these guys? Would I want to be on would I want them as teammates? And I look at this team and I say, absolutely.
You may have answered my question, but just to piggyback off what Davis was talking about, you retired in 2006. You went into the personnel GM role in 2007. So what are the main ingredients, the main traits you look into bringing into a player when you're going to decide to? I know the physical tools, but what else?
You got to have good character to play here. Yeah. Right? You got to have integrity. Good football players, we're recruiting those guys. We're looking for those guys. That goes without saying. Right. Yeah. Do they check the other boxes? Right? What is that player going to be like when he leaves the building? Is he going to embrace the community? Is he going to be someone that's going to get in trouble? Or is he going to be someone that's going to help build and make sure he represents the club and his family the right way? What are their motivations? If your motivations is cash and money and girls, that's okay, but I'm more into the family people. Right?
So hold on, Ed. Because I played with players like this. Has there ever been a guy you was like, man, I don't want to keep this guy, but he's balling. I got to keep him. Man, this sucker is balling.
That's a question. Honestly, guys, no, because you know what? You want to know what? We are not in a position for that. Okay. We are not there because we've already seen that. We've seen that act here. Right. Not anymore. Yep. So if you don't fit, you got to split.
I want to move from players to your coaching staff for just a moment, because for so many years we watched Mark Killam as a special teams coordinator. We thought, when is he going to get this shot? But he does embody everything that you are currently talking about. A solid guy, a family man out in the community. How impressed have you been with Mark Killam as a head coach?
See, Mark, like, it is so, the head coach position is understated and sometimes overrated in this league. And in Mark's case, you wonder how come it's been so, why wasn't he considered a long time ago? Yep. And then you get a chance to talk with him, and then you hear his philosophy, and you say, well, we're definitely aligned there. And you realize that he wasn't overlooked. It was just probably another opportunity somewhere for someone else. But we're happy to have him here. And as far as what he brings, the energy he brings to the locker room, the energy he brings every day, whether it's high or low. Now, I like his his energy on the sidelines. I always tell him sometimes, hey, tone it down. We need the officials on our side. But all in all, he has revitalized that locker room with the players and stuff, and they'll run through a wall for him. And that's what you got to have, right? You don't want somebody that's going to punish players for every little thing, like a penalty, and then they want to sit them for a week. We don't want to do that stuff here.
I'll say something. Talk about the Edmonton football culture. Just a quick story. 20 years ago, this guy's been obviously a huge part of the Edmonton football culture for a long time. But I was a free agent in 2005, and the great Hugh Campbell was the one recruiting me and trying to get me to come here. I flew into Edmonton for 2 days to talk to you and to meet people to decide if I was going to sign here. Who picked me up at the airport? Who did the Edmonton team have spend every day with me? 2 straight days, dinner, partying, hanging out to teach me the Edmonton way. But this guy, and that's coming from an Edmonton legend, Hugh Campbell, who trusted him with the keys back then, and now he's got the keys again.
No question. I remember that time, and that's what we do here, right? On field is on field. But when we talk about guys who can help us play, we knew that Davis could come in here and help us win. You know what I'm saying? and all that other stuff. We're like, hey, let's go, and we're going to go hang out because we're going to need each other. And we ended up winning a championship that year together. So, like I said, this is the CFL. But to play here, to be here, we always say, like, everyone has their own established cultures, but we believe here, for those of us who have been here a long time, that we believe we're a little different, and we embrace that.
This is a story for another day. We won't talk about this, but you were supposed to be a Winnipeg Blue Bomber. We won't talk about that. We won't. That's another thing. Yeah, we won't
I think we can all agree that was some fantastic stuff from Ed Hervey. Now, speaking of the Elks, we have the one and only Javon Leak, the Leaqualizer, with us. Before we even ask you a question about football, young man, happy birthday!
Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you weren't expecting a weather delay on your birthday, but how much would it mean to you on this big celebratory evening to break free and find pay dirt and make this crowd of 30,000 just jump out of their seats tonight?
Man, it would mean everything. It's a special day. We got the fans out here. It's the biggest crowd yet this season, so it would mean everything if I can get in the box, man. Get the fans a show and get the win.
We're outside the locker room. The fans are outside the locker room. Take us into the locker room around a delay like this and what you're saying. I know you're telling Coach, hey, Coach, run the ball more, but outside of that, what else is happening in there?
Man, people just staying loose in there, watching film. Staying loose is the biggest thing, man. You know, with a 30-minute delay, it can get tight, you know, stuff like that. So just staying loose, stretching, watching the film, getting the extra edge on, and, you know, just keeping your mind right. Try not to get distracted.
How are you and you together in the backfield with Justin? How are you guys managing that, your relationship with the load, and how do you guys impact, game plans to other teams, or how do you try to?
Man, that's my dog, man. We just got an understanding. Before the game, we know how many series he's going to get. He'll get like 3, I'll get 1. It's just stuff like that. But that's my dog, man. We got a great relationship. We're tight, and, you know, whenever he need one, he tap his head, I come in, and I do what I do, man. But that's a great teammate. I love playing with Rank. It's my 3rd year with him, man. It's amazing.
So real quick, you guys can rotate in and out as you please?
No. I wouldn't say all that. No.
What the hell?
No,
you think you Kobe Bryant or something?
No, sir. We'll have an understanding. Like, Coach will come up to us and say, hey, Rank will get this many, and then you'll go in, and then back to Rank, stuff like that. We'll talk about it before the game with the coaches, though.
Okay, now they ask you football questions, but I got a profound, deep, important question. Yeah. The panel dubbed you the Leaqualizer, but I don't see you walking around saying it's Javon Leaqualizer. You're still saying Leak. I don't see any Leaqualizer jerseys, shirts. I need to get this Leaqualizer thing going.
From this day on, I got y'all. Leaqualizer. I'm with it. I got you.
You know, when it comes to a weather delay, we were talking about this as the panel too. This can either help or hurt a team. Obviously, you're now more of a veteran in the league. You've got a few years. You got some Grey Cup experience underneath your belt as well. But for you guys, do you think this is more an advantage for your team or for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who also have a few Wiley vets on their team?
You know, we've been in a rain delay before. The first game of the season in Ottawa, you know what I'm saying? So we've been here before. We know what it is. Like I said, just stay loose in the locker room, watch the film, and just try to keep an advantage on them. But we've been here before, so I feel like it's an advantage for us.
Okay, talk to me about the changes that have been happening on this team and what you've seen. You came in from a Grey Cup winning team and you joined this team and you saw the changes. Talk to us about what you've seen in the locker room.
Man, we earned this, dog. It's been a rough 3 years, and we're finally, starting to win. The fans are loving it, but it's all fight with us, man. We never give up to all 4 quarters. So I love this team. I love the locker room that we got, man. It's a great group of guys. I wouldn't want to do this with nobody else.
I think I've asked you this before, but when I looked up your speed, it showed me a number that I did not believe.
Oh, man.
Because you run away from everybody, but somehow when I look at you coming out of college, your speed was similar to mine. It wasn't that fast. Yeah. What is it? Tell me about that, because I watch you run. You can straight fly.
Yeah. So I came out of college. I was training, and I got up to like 215, 216. Ended up running a 4.65 at the combine. You know, it was the COVID year, so I didn't have a chance to run my pro day and run it over, so I had to stick with that number. It's a terrible number. Cody Fajardo has a faster 40 than me on the record. I don't like it.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? It's terrible. I wish I could go back and redo it.
They say men lie, women lie, numbers don't. But in this case, Leaqualizer, numbers are straight line.
They were lying. I'm telling you.
You and Rankin make up a dynamic backfield. Are there certain plays that are designated for you and for him, or is it just when you're in the game, whatever play is called, that's what's ran?
Well, whoever's in the game, whatever play is called, we do it, man. We both got the ability to do whatever, catch out the backfield, run, block. So whatever Jordan calls upstairs, man, that's what we run.
Javon, we really appreciate you taking the time to come and talk with us. I have just one final question here, though. You win this football game. Where's the Leaqualizer taking us after this game in Edmonton?
We're going downtown. I'm going to show y'all Edmonton. I'm going to show y'all around. We're going to have a great time. I got to get him home by 10, though.
Home by 10? You are not getting home by 10
It's going to be quick, but I got y'all.
Javon, thank you for taking the time, and happy birthday to you. And good luck in the second half. Meanwhile, the weather seems to be clearing up nicely in Edmonton. Actually, beautiful skies. The fans are coming back into their seats. We'll get you another update right after this. Well, we officially have an update. I do love being a meteorologist once in a while. 7:30 local, so that is 9:30 Eastern. The players will return to the field, and then 9:40 Eastern, 7:40 local, they will kick off the second half. The weather just looking so much better, but they're clearly just making sure that all the storms are out of the area. Now, at halftime, we had promised you for Dog of the Week, but then Mother Nature kind of delayed that. But Milt Stiegel, I know this is your favorite news segment. Each and every week, it was so controversial last week.
Yes.
So controversial.
Yes.
So you can't mess it up this week.
Mess it up.
Who's your Dog of the Week?
Fastest growing segment in Canada. And our Dog of the Week this week is Davis Alexander. And he, what are you saying?
No. There's a rule right now.
What's the rule?
If they're playing the Red Blacks, you cannot give it to
Well, I can't give it to Philpott?
No.
Not even Snead?
No. You can't give it to Maltos Diaz. You can't give it to the backup QB. You can give it to no one.
Okay, well, I got to go to the BC Lions. Xander Horvath and Caden Slater. They helped the BC Lions rush for a BC Lion record 377 rushing yards against my Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They were running all over the field, ripping it up. And because of that,
why don't we say salty? What about a salty dog? We got to like salt something, right?
We got to salt something. We got salty dog. Salty dog. Salty dog.
Salter.
And it was Kate who did the Ottawa thing. I didn't want to do the Ottawa
thing. All right, I got to ask, though, because now we have enough time to at least break the Dog of the Week down. Enoch, do you agree with the Dog of the Week, or would you have given it to someone else?
No, absolutely. I think you got to stay away from that game. It was a little lopsided. But, yes, absolutely, what the BC Lions were able to do, they're still trying to figure out what's going on over there. You got the absence of Nathan Rourke. You got to find whatever you can, and for Salters to come in and have the type of game that he did as well, you're figuring out. And the longer he can play, the better he's going to get for sure.
So who you're giving, you wouldn't give Dog of the Week to those guys?
I would. I agree with you.
Okay, all right.
If we have time, I want to flush out our conversation. We got cut off earlier talking about Ottawa on the move to relieve their defensive coordinator. If we have time, look, because I think KB had brought it up, and you had mentioned that, you have to make a move. And I think in pro sports, someone has to take the fall, and sometimes the conversation is something had to be done. And I started to say I disagreed that something has to be. I agree something has to be done, but making a move. I think what I say against the BC Lions game, I said rearranging the furniture is not going to necessarily change the look of the place. So to me, I didn't think that was the move. I don't like the move.
Yep.
That roster is a mess. It's going to take time to build a strong enough roster. I look at the players on that team. There's some gamers, but that's the weakest roster in the league. There's no doubt in my mind. So firing a guy that around the league is well respected as a defensive guy, and when it's not his guys, that makes no sense to me. Did they have to make a move? I mean,
that's a good question.
That move, yeah.
That's a good man. The example I gave was I told you about when I ran track in high school. There was a guy who just kept beating me. Somebody said, I got some shoes that'll make you faster. I tried on the shoes, nothing wrong. I got some other shoes that'll make you faster. It wasn't the shoes. It was just the guy who was just faster than me. It's not the coach. They don't have the horses in the stable. I don't care what jockey you put on there. They don't have the horses in the stable. And so, do I understand why they made that move? I don't know.
Now they're taking 2 steps back.
Yeah.
You know what I would say, though, too? I think we maybe should erase the narrative around Jake Mayer. Jake hasn't played horrible over the last few weeks, too. And a lot of those losses, you had to look at the defense in the last game. I mean, they were awful. So Wheelfield's no longer with the job there. We have Dusty and Glenn coming up next. All right, the weather looking just a little bit better here in Edmonton, and we've already talked to Javon Leake, which means we, of course, have to talk to a Saskatchewan Roughrider. Thrilled to be joined by Del Duncan Busby. Del, first of all, thanks for taking the time. We know this weather delay is a little longer than I think any of us expected at this, but when we were talking to Javon, we were just going through the motions of what the team's currently doing. What are the Riders currently doing to prepare and make sure they're ready for the second half?
Right now, we're just going over what we did in the first half, how we can kind of correct it, and then so that way when we come back out the second half, we can kind of just take it to them.
Talk to me about what you've seen so far in the first half. It's been obviously a close game, but Coach Duncan does. But right now, you're Coach Duncan. Tell us about what you think the adjustment should be right now going into the second half.
Well, I don't know. We see what they're trying to do on defense. So at this point, we're just trying to make sure that we understand our assignments and make sure that we just go out there and execute. I ain't gonna go too far into it. Can't go too far into it though.
Well, you're young in your career, so you haven't played with a ton of starting quarterbacks, but Trevor Harris is obviously special. What do you see when you look around the league at other quarterbacks? What do you see that Trevor does well?
Trev is very fast on his feet. He understands what's happening on defense before the play kind of goes, and then he understands who needs to get the ball and why they need to get the ball. So he's a really smart quarterback, and he just understands everything that's going on out there.
We talk about best receiving cores in the CFL. Some people say Montreal, some people say Saskatchewan. Enoch's always say Toronto, but we're going to talk about that. But and I know you guys don't care. It's all about winning. But is there a friendly competition going on between you guys?
What, in our room?
Yeah, your room.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know, we're all competitors. We all want to do the best. We all want to get the ball. We all want to, make plays. But at the end of the day, all that can kind of go bad if we don't get the win, and that's the only thing that matters. So the whole thing is just making sure that we do our job, so then that way we can come out every game with a dub.
Speaking of the win, I mean, that game last week was an instant classic between these two teams. How important is it now for you guys to return this favor and leave here today with a victory?
It's very important. Obviously, they beat us in our home, and now we got to do it in theirs. So that's kind of been our motto the whole week, making sure that we take it to them, and just making sure that we just do our jobs and execute, because we feel like we left a lot of plays on the field last week. So making sure that we clean up that stuff and just take it to them.
You talked to us a little bit about your journey and how you came to the CFL and whatnot. And in your young career, talk to me about some of the things that you might have picked up that are helping you right now as you're continuing to excel.
Yeah, so, I mean, my journey started off, I was in Toronto, moved to Ohio when I was in high school, went to a school out of Minnesota called Bemidji State, a little D2 school. D2, still great ball out there, still great ball. Then I got drafted in 23, and then I just kind of been building every single year and just making sure, honestly, every game it feels like I've taken another step. So just little things that I've learned along the way, just how to be a professional. That's my big thing, coming in, making sure that, I'm there on time. No, not even on time. I'm there 10 minutes is on time, making sure that I do the little things correctly.
Is there anyone you leaned on a little bit more than the other, perhaps?
Well, Keyshawn and I, when I came in, that was also his first year. So him and I kind of roomed together. We were able to talk a lot of things out, and he was in my shoes, especially at the beginning because I got hurt. So, just making sure that I have my head on straight. He's definitely Unc for me. He's my Unc.
When I look at your team, I look at, obviously, Milt mentioned and a great receiving core. You also have a great secondary. I can see some real battles in practice between you guys. Who's the DB that gets under your guys' skin, gets under the receiver's skin the most? Who's the biggest problem?
I'd have to say Sales. Sales has this little technique that he likes to play, and it's just like we don't. Sales, what are you doing? Half the time we're watching the film, we're like, why are you even doing this? There's no way you do this on game day. But I mean, it works for him. He makes plays.
I got to know what it is. Tyler, what's the technique?
Oh, no. You know what? That's for y'all to watch, man. That's for y'all to watch. I can't be giving out secrets like that.
Okay.
And I want you to be as honest as you can with this answer. Be as transparent as you can. Before you came to the CFL, how much did you know about the CFL? Be honest.
I didn't know a whole lot.
Okay.
I didn't know because I didn't start playing football till my senior year of high school.
Oh, wow.
I was a basketball player.
Wow.
So by the time I left Toronto, I was just basketball at that point.
Yeah.
So I kind of started picking up once I knew that I had an opportunity to do it. My junior year, I started catching up a little bit more. I started watching more games, and then kind of going into my senior year, I started talking to a couple guys as well. And then because I could have left early at that point, so I was kind of talking to a few people, and then once I got out here, I kind of just no look, just dove in there. That's basically what happened.
And now you know it's the best league, correct?
Absolutely.
This is the most
Absolutely.
fun
I love
electric
it.
league. Adele, thank you very much for joining us today. And look, there aren't a lot of benefits of rain delays, but we get to know some of the players.
Yeah.
And for yourself, exactly, we just introduced you to all of Canada. So congratulations on what you've done so far and on your journey as well. And Coach May says, thanks for being diplomatic about the coaching answer. And Sales says, thanks for not giving away all my secrets. All right, let's go back upstairs. It's Dustin Nielsen and Glenn Suter.
That was a great
Loved
chat.
it. Yeah, loved it. I'm going to be watching Sales, see what his little tricks are.
We got to get to the bottom of that, don't we?
We got to get to the bottom.
Yeah, a technique that only he does. We'll be watching for that for sure. I still got a little bit of time until we get things going again. Players should be on the field here in a little bit. They'll get a 10-minute warm-up, and then we'll get back. I'm excited to see the second half of this football game, but this gives us a little bit of time to focus on two guys that are in this game and a couple others around the league that we would identify as being significantly involved in the race for MOP.
Again, I'm going to say we're talking about this a little early in the season, maybe, because it's usually about Labor Day when we really start to fire up the MOP discussion. But I think there's 4 front runners, and 2 of them are in this game tonight. At the beginning of the season, after 2 or 3 games, everyone was talking Justin Rankin, and justifiably so. But I think it's 4 quarterbacks right now. And let's start with Davis Alexander. I mean, when you think about Davis Alexander and what he's doing in Montreal and what that offense is doing, you were there first.
Yeah, he was slinging it last
against
week.
Ottawa. And with Tyson Philpott as his #1 target, but there's a lot of them. He's just such a gamer. And when I think about the big, heavy arm, many times when he's off schedule, Davis Alexander is backing away from the rush and usually gets between 15 and 20 yards deep sometimes in the pocket and is throwing from deep in that pocket on a precise dig route, something over the middle, something on the boundary that he has to be accurate on. And so that big arm and his ability to just create, I think, puts him in the discussion for sure.
Well, Wayne, we'll get to the 2 guys here tonight. The ability to create also makes me think of Vernon Adams, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? When you said that, I said, well, this is an easy transition to VA and what he's been doing so far.
Well, the number that jumps out to me, and he's been a little lucky, including the game earlier, that he hasn't thrown an interception, and he's upwards of 25 touchdown passes, I believe. But when you think about the ways that you can intercept a pass and what can happen on the field, there's so many moving parts. Could be tipped at the line of scrimmage, bounce off a hand of a defensive lineman, bounces in the air. So many different ways that an interception can happen. For him not to throw one, and not to be conservative through that process. So he's not only not making the mistake of the big interception, but he is also pushing the ball when he needs to. So that, to me, and his start and them now getting there back to 500, now we're talking about a guy that's in the conversation.
He's the quarterback of a team that's averaging 40 points per game.
Unreal.
I don't know what else you need to be in the conversation there. And then that brings us to the 2 veteran quarterbacks we're seeing here tonight. I would think not a lot separating Fajardo and Harris in this conversation.
Yeah, well, Fajardo may be the hot topic because of his 500 yards last week, 510 yards. And I think we should just sort of settle this argument or this discussion that Cody Fajardo should, is a game manager and should not be in this conversation, because he's more than that. He's a winner. He is resilient. When you look at his resume and you go back, you're talking about a guy now that is a Grey Cup champion, was a Grey Cup MVP, moved out of that team because of Davis Alexander, so you understand that. But he proved to us again last week and over the last couple of games, hasn't thrown an interception in 3 games now, 3 or 4 games, and has been averaging well over 300 yards. That 500-yard game certainly helps the average. But we can just put to bed this idea that he is a game manager. Cody Fajardo is a resilient leader who wins, and I think he is in that conversation right now as MOP.
And Trevor Harris is as accurate as anybody's ever been, including Cody Fajardo, and he's got a great set of weapons as well. Coming in off a championship, great start to the season again. What can you say about Trevor?
Well, for Trevor, to me, it's like, I think no matter what business you're in football, most importantly for us right now, but whatever business you're in, don't take for granted excellence. Sometimes when you look at a player or your employee and you think, gee, he's so good all the time, and so consistent and works so hard behind the scenes to prepare and to bounce back from adversity on the field and show that great leadership. In the loss last week, almost 400 yards and 4 touchdowns for Trevor Harris. So I think what happens with a guy like Trevor is sometimes we get complacent and think he's so good and so consistent all the time that you kind of overlook him in the conversation. Trevor Harris, I wrote this down because I wanted to make sure I remembered which guys did it. He's on pace for 6,000 yards passing.
Pretty good.
Doug Flutie did that twice. Kent Austin did it in 92. David Archer did it in 93. And Anthony Calvillo did it in 2004. That's it. That's a short list, and Trevor Harris is on pace.
And just a couple more names to toss in here because it is not MVP, it's MOP. Yes. And if Justin Rankin were to go 1,000, that's extremely outstanding. Philpott hit 1,000 yards in 8 games last night.
Love it.
And if he tracks down Pitts for the record, then that's outstanding as well. So there's probably half a dozen guys making a strong case for the MOP right now. Here's the panel. Look at them. Big cheers as they make their way back over to the corner of Commonwealth here. Kid's got to catch that one from Milt. That was a good look. Davis's shoes. Holy smokes.
It's faster.
You know, I love when I get to report fantastic news. The wind's not fantastic, but I will tell you this. The sky has cleared up. Mother Nature has decided to finally play nice. And all of a sudden, we have the officials coming back onto the field, the players slowly trickling onto the field as well. This wind will be interesting in the second half, though, I will tell you that. It's funny how much it's changed, though, the weather. We were looking at the radar coming in today, too, and I realize I'm not a meteorologist, just for reference here, but it's incredible. We went from like 30 degrees hot, no wind, and then all of a sudden it's windy, it's cool, and we've got a very slick field in front of us.
Canada, huh?
Welcome to Canada, welcome to the CFL, and we're here for it. Enoch, we were talking to these players about what they were doing in the locker rooms when it involved a weather delay and how it affected these teams overall. But I gotta say, it's been about an hour now, and we'll see how this does affect them. But the one person that I'm really interested in the second half is Rankin. Once again, Saskatchewan has done a fantastic job of slowing him down. He's only got 14 yards so far, but you look at the conditions, and I do think this certainly helps running backs in something like this.
Absolutely. The wind picking up like this, it's almost like it's a whole nother game. And a lot of times when we come out of half, you always hear kind of guys saying in the locker room, hey, guys, let's go back out there and it's 0-0 mindset. Well, it's almost that. Yes, it's maybe 1-0, but it's very much so. There's not too much advantage on either side. There's no team that really had a lot of momentum necessarily, but you're right, Kate. Justin Rankin, they have to still find a way to get him more involved. The more he gets involved, the better this offense does.
Temporarily, I thought they were cheering about a great point you made, but I realized the Edmonton Elks have taken the field.
I think it was both, Davis.
The players are running on the field now. They'll give them 10 minutes to warm up, and then they'll start the game. And I'm excited to see how the second half is going to go. As I've been saying, these are two heavyweights. I'm not concerned with the fact that they had to have that delay because these veteran quarterbacks, these teams are well coached, so I don't think they'll miss a beat as far as the excitement of this game. The fans stayed around, which is the most important thing. So yes. It's going to be another high-powered half, and I won't say it will be like we had last week, but I'm looking for a lot more scoring in this half than we did in the first half.
All right, let's send you down to the field as Tom Gazzola standing by with Austin Mack.
All right, an extended halftime. Austin, how do you guys get ready for the second half here after everything that went on with the weather delay?
Man, regardless, it's a fresh game. We got to make sure we come out here and play our football. We got to do a little bit better on special teams, a little better on first down, play our game, and then make sure we score some points in the red zone.
Yeah, last week was crazy, and I think a lot of people want to see fireworks this week. A little bit different. How come it's been tougher to get the offense going?
Same team a week behind, right? So more than anything, they know the tendencies. We know their tendencies. So it's all about who's going to make those big plays when it matters, the details, and right, we're going to come down to it, and I feel good about us.
All right, thanks for this, Austin.
Man. Appreciate it. Go Bucks. Go Elks.
Well, we'll see what happens in the second half, but, let's go back to what Milt was saying, really, after the first half. And, Chaz, I think both these teams, not just the QBs, I think everyone's playing a little conservative, and I don't know if that is from the fireworks of last week or this crowd right now of over 30,000 that they want to win that badly, but maybe that break, maybe the weather delay might actually help a little bit of this just up here.
Yeah, I mean, think about playoff games, KB, in every sport. They're always, playing it closer to the vest. You don't want to make mistakes, or every possession possession so important. I get the sense throughout this game, and it's the same way. These are the top 2 teams in the West, the top 3 teams in the league right now, and they're playing this game like that. And I think that's the reason why we haven't seen a bunch of explosion plays and that stuff, because these 2 teams, I think, are playing this game close to the vest, and they realize every possession is important.
And I'll say this, too. One is a back-to-back week, but at the same time, too, I know the players don't like it, the fans don't like the delay of games. If there's anybody that likes this type of stuff an extended amount of time like this at halftime, the coaches. They get more time to adjust. Ow. They get an opportunity to look at the plays. Yes. It's rare when you're in the game. When you're in the game, it's hard to kind of make adjustments, but you get to halftime, coaches always feel like they're rushed. Coaches always feel like they don't have enough time to change things, to add things, to tweak things. But extended amount of time like this, I can only imagine how many of those coaches were pulling guys in the corner and started to talk about, hey, I want you to change this. I want you to do this different.
And I'm about to tell my age now, and Chaz will know what I'm talking about. When we had delays, there was a whiteboard. These guys, they have iPads now. You can make so many changes to your offense or defense because we have whiteboards. Coaches trying to draw on the whiteboard. You go to the bathroom, now you got iPads now. So they can definitely make some changes that can impact the game in the second half.
Well, I don't think, we talked about how important it was for, Edmonton has this crowd and how important it is for them to win this game. I think this is a win regardless, because obviously they want to come out and get a W. It's an important game in the West, and they have a huge crowd. They want to please the crowd, but they come out and put on a good product with a huge crowd here. And this is at the end of the day, this is a really good football team. For the crowd here, hopefully they win. But I just want to say now, before the game ends and as we enter the second half, this is a win-win regardless for this atmosphere and this football team they built here in Edmonton.
And you know what, too? And kudos to these fans, too. And I'm not over-exaggerating here, too. And I know that you probably can't see either side of this stadium. I really don't see a lot of people who left.
Nope.
And that is incredible. And you know what? This is the sports fans in Edmonton, and this is exactly what they need to get back. I'm going to start with both teams here. Let's start with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Enoch, one adjustment you would like to see from Sask in this second half?
I want to see more passes in the perimeter. Yes, it's been kind of tough for Trevor Harris to get downfield because of this secondary. They've been playing very well, extremely aggressive, and obviously we know how much turnovers they already caused. But I want to see the ball get out of Trevor Harris even faster. We know we can do that, but let's start with the slow passes, the perimeter passes. Don't have to go deep necessarily, but chip down the field and start building drives that are extended.
For Edmonton, they want to get shots down the field. Austin Mack talked about being better in interview right now, being better on first down. Well, if you know on first down, you're going to get crowded boxes, heavy boxes with Justin Rankin in there. I think you got to find ways to take shots down the field and get your one-on-one matchup with guys like Austin Mack. Do what Montreal does. Get into a 2 or 3 receiver sets, get some play action, max protect, get Austin Mack with a waggle, and work your one-on-one matchup and win that matchup on first down.
And that's the case for me for both teams. Let's start throwing the ball down the field. Give the people what they came to see. They want to see some big plays. I mean, we've seen some solid football, no turnovers, efficient football. But people come to the games to see some big plays. Let's throw the ball down the field. I know you don't want to make a mistake, but scared money don't make money, Kay. It doesn't make money. Let's see some big plays.
I'm never scared of Stiegel, ever.
I ain't never scared.
Never scared. And you know what? Good for these fans. They stuck around, and they also paid to come watch football. And guess what? That's exactly what is going to happen. Second half action between the Edmonton Elks and the Saskatchewan Roughriders officially set to kick off. We're going to get you to Dustin and Glenn after this.
Well, dare I say once again, a relatively beautiful night in Edmonton as the skies have cleared up from what we saw about an hour ago. We waited all week for this game. What's another 67-minute delay for the second half? You see both teams back on the field. If you are just joining, let's bring you up to speed here. The Riders with a 14-13 lead.
Well, it looked like it was going to be an offensive explosion out of the gate when both quarterbacks drove the field in their first drives for majors. That was a 7-all tie at that point. Then the defense has picked it up a notch, especially in the second quarter. Saw a couple sacks from Edmonton against Trevor Harris, couple of sacks, or one sack from Saskatchewan going the other way. That was the opening drive for Edmonton, capped off by Justin Rankin. Couple of touchdowns and short yardage from Tommy Stevens. Field goal, that counts for our points. And a sort of a tale of two stories in the first half. First quarter, some offense. Second quarter, some defense.
Yeah, defense picked things up in the second quarter. You see the darker skies there right before the halftime delay. But I'll have to say, a lot of the crowd stuck around. Pretty impressive. A few more have moved up to the upper deck. Here's the exact time on the delay, 1 hour and 7 minutes, plus the 15-minute halftime. You heard the panel, and great job by Kate, the guys on the panel to fill over the last hour or so. More time for adjustments. So do you add in different adjustments, or you just make the regular adjustments?
No, I think you can add in completely different adjustments as long as it's within your structure as a team and within your playbook structure. So, yeah, you can make all kinds of adjustments, these coaches. And, hey, I'm a half-full guy. You're a half-full guy. So I'm pretty sure in that delay, beverage sales went through the roof.
Probably through the roof on the beverage sales. Great point, Suits. It'll be the Riders who get the ball to start the half. They will have the wind at their back in the third quarter, which means Edmonton will have it in the fourth quarter. But a big spot here. Second of 3 meetings between these two clubs. If Edmonton were to lock this one up tonight, they take the season series. If the Riders manage to get the win, then it comes down to the final game on the regular season schedule, week 21 in Regina. And we are underway here in the second half. Finally. This is picked up. Bertrand Houdon on the return, and he'll rumble ahead. Just short of the 40. Here's a look at Trevor Harris and his numbers in the first half of this football game. 8 of 10 for 84 yards.
Yeah, not normal, Trevor Harris numbers. Again, the defense is playing well in the second quarter, but it did get things going in that first drive for sure. Remember, if you're just joining us now, Sam Emelis was a game day scratch. So they moved Del Duncan Busby to his spot, and Daniel Weeb is getting a chance to play in that starting offense.
There was an offside on Edmonton on the kickoff. A delay will do that to you, but the Riders decided to decline it anyway. This drive is going to start on the 39. 24 degrees as we get rolling here in the second half. Harris will start it on the ground, and Edmonton's defense is right there. Nowhere to go for Conley. Carney in on the tackle.
Good first half for Malik Carney. He made a couple of plays in that first half. Right off the get-go here, he's just unblocked off the edge right at the point of attack. It looked like there was maybe take a little more time for this offense to get back in rhythm.
Advantage defense on both sides?
I would think so, just until the offenses loosen up and they get their timing down.
So a loss of 2, 2nd and 12 for Harris. And he's going to take a shot way down the field for Johnson. And it's taken away. Terrell Ford's done it again. His third of the season. And Edmonton's defense comes out to play after the delay.
Picked up where they left off in the second. He had a big first half in Terrell Ford, and this is just an athletic interception. There's nothing fancy about it. It's not about reading routes or anything like that. That's just allowing your receiver to go by, knowing you can make up the speed with your speed, and then just out-jumping Keyshawn Johnson for the football.
Just the 6th interception of the season thrown by Harris. Now Fajardo will get it out to O'Leary Orange. Has a couple of blocks. Gets upended on the far sideline. There's Fajardo in the first half. (11 of 15 for 115. And we'll see what they run offensively coming out of the break. Second and 5 for Fajardo. Near sideline, Julian Grant had to come back to it a bit, and he is going to be marked well short, 3 yards short of a first down, and they'll have to kick it away. So nothing coming off that turnover.
Yeah, and when you get the sudden change, that's a big moment for your defense. The Saskatchewan defense steps up in that case. I thought it was interesting at halftime or in the break where the panel was talking about, is there an advantage for either of these teams? And Davis mentioned the home team is at home. Their locker room is more comfortable. You have all the things you need there. That's one thing. But I found it interesting about the veteran players and how much longer it might take them to loosen up.
Loosen up a little bit. Here's Weeb. Near sideline, and a flag here. Looked like the back of his jersey might have been tugged ever so slightly. And we'll pick that up when we return. Terrell Ford with the INT to start the second half. Not the way that Leonard Johnson wanted to start the half.
Well, it gets the Saskatchewan offense out of the hole. This is a horse collar. It's not a real heavy horse collar. It was a soft one, but anytime you pull the ball carrier backward even a little bit, you're going to get called. Better field position for the Riders.
Johnson's been very good on special teams so far for Edmonton this season, his second with the team. This is on the Rider 40 for Trevor Harris. Still only at 84 passing yards in the game. They'll go on the ground. Conley, look! Oh, the reverse hurdle! Did you see that? Spectacular stuff from Quali Conley. Wow!
Hey, we have seen a lot of great moves from tailbacks in this game. I don't remember ever a deliberate turn against the flow, go backwards on the hurdle over a tackler. Wow.
Put it on a highlight reel. Quali Conley.
He's loose, but he's young.
He's okay. He's one of the young guys.
He's one of the young guys.
Harris wants to throw here. Far side, drops it in there at the 40. And that is held on to by Duncan Busby. One of our halftime interviews.
Yeah, Duncan Busby got the communication from Trevor Harris on that pump fake just in time. Harris wanted him to hold up down that rail, and he gave him that little pump fake. He gets hit and pulled down. That's Carney again in the backfield. He got a 20-yarder, and Duncan Busby understood the communication at the last second.
Now the Riders looking good here. Work from the Edmonton 38. Back, Conley again. Robbie Smith in on the tackle that time for Edmonton.
Can I just make a request? Can we see Conley one more time?
I'm not opposed to it, Sue.
How about super slow-mo and just backwards hurdle and keeps his feet to get another 3 or 4.
That's cool. First year out of Arizona. That's nice. Just a couple of games played so far. People will know that name now. 2nd and 6. Elks show pressure. They drop back. Keyshawn Johnson, and it's incomplete again. Keyshawn Johnson, usually money in these situations.
Well, you know, I mentioned the first half. Keon Schaefer-Baker, his teammate, is 2nd in the CFL in 2-point conversion catches, or 2nd down conversion catches. Keyshawn Johnson is 1st in the league. And we've seen 2 of these now. One in the first half, one now, and you just don't see that from him.
Just 1 catch on 4 targets. Hale, 75% on the season. This one from outside 40, not even close. Yanks it wide to the left.
No point.
And that is through, and the Riders come up empty. And the kicker conversation in the province of Saskatchewan continues. But how about this? Hey! Conley up and over! Well, as we get rolling again here in the second half, let's flash it back to Cody Fajardo and the list that he joined last week.
Well, this is former Edmonton Eskimos and Elks that have hit the 500 mark. Warren Moon back in '83 and did it twice that year. Jason Moss in 2004. That was the year that AC had Anthony Calvillo had 6,000 yards passing, and of course Michael Riley as well. But that is a pretty cool list to be on.
First and 10 from the 40 after the missed field goal attempt. On the ground. And once again, Rankin contained after a short pickup of about 3.5.
Another play by Antoine Brooks to get him down. Both teams starting out with their run game in this after the long break. It also helps the offensive lineman to just drive off the line of scrimmage and go try to run somebody over. But you think about his first 2 games, that's a quiet night for Justin Rankin.
Nothing beyond 5 for a guy who's gone longer than 10, 21 times. Now Fajardo. Austin Mack wide open, stays in bounds, pushes it ahead, down inside the Rider 50. Austin Mack's third catch of the game goes for 17 yards.
Well, here's my real oversimplification of the night, because the panel talked about using the perimeter a little more, and Cody Fajardo, I think it was Milt, mentioning trying to get the ball maybe out to the sideline, out to the perimeter a little bit more, and the quarterback was listening. Austin Mack picks up a first down.
Austin Mack now over 600 receiving yards this season. It's at the bottom of your screen to the left of Fajardo. Heads up. Oh, Larry Orange bounces off of it, pushes it ahead for another Edmonton first down.
I think that was Marcus Sales coming from the outside. That looked like that was going to be some kind of collision. And Cody Fajardo was just right on the timing, because if he delays even a split second longer getting the ball out to the outside here, that's a blow-up shot. But Larry Orange had a chance just to turn a split second before the contact came and fought it off.
Larry Orange got a few pounds on Marcus Sales there, bounced off of him.
Yeah.
First and 10 from the 38. Now they'll toss it out to Rankin. And he finds a little bit of space here. Rankin's longest run of the night. And another first down for the Elks.
Well, it's just a little toss. And I love this play call here from Jordan Maksimic, the offensive coordinator. Get them out on the edge. Get these offensive linemen into open area, into space, outside, and find some opposite color to hit, and let your running back pick his way through the hole. That gets Rankin in space.
Edmonton trailing by a single point. Now inside the 30. Fajardo bouncing around the pocket, dumps it off to Rankin. Rankin trying to make one man miss. He cannot. Excellent tackle by Burgess Jr. Tavon Campbell, we should note, has been ruled out upper body for the rest of this game. That's why you're seeing Burgess in there.
Yeah, James Burgess Jr. out of Alabama State. There is Tavon Campbell. He is out. A couple of extra DBs are dressed for tonight, but it looks like we'll see Burgess on the corner.
Loss of 3 yards. So second and long for Fajardo. 3 to the left. Pressure coming up the middle. Cody goes over the middle. Has a completion down inside the 10 as he whipped it in there to Cephas.
Joshua Cephas is thrown open by this kind of back shoulder throw. Cody Fajardo is we got a great look at it here as he throws to the back shoulder because he sees that inside defender coming across, and it was Antoine Brooks, who loves to make those plays, leads the team in defensive plays. He was honing in on that one. So Fajardo with great accuracy put it on that backside shoulder.
Cephas with 2 catches, both of them over 20 yards so far in this one. First and goal from the 9 as Edmonton looks to finish. Fajardo in trouble. They'll get him. Taking him down inside the 15. It was Roberson who started it for the Riders.
Derek Roberson from Sam Houston has been in camp for a couple of weeks on the edge here, and he is going to make this play. He's got NFL experience. I think there's a lot of Rider fans that are real excited about this guy and what he may be able to bring. He played 7 snaps in the first half. He's rotating in, playing on the special teams. He played for the Titans, the Houston Texans, NFL games.
Second and goal from the 14. Fajardo on the run to his right, fakes the pass, trying to stay on his feet. They'll wrap him up and take him down at the 5. 8 yards, but nowhere to go with that ball for Cody Fajardo. Fajardo.
That was great coverage in the back end. Jameer Thurman finally gets there, but the coverage taken care of in the back end. Cody might have had a corner route, but Fajardo decides he doesn't want to try to fit it in a tight window there and tries to get what he can.
It was Thurman that finally took him down, tried to punch it out. Fajardo held on, and now Blanchard out for a chip shot and the lead for Edmonton, and he makes no mistake. And the Elks go back on top, 16-14. But the Riders defense holds strong after a pretty good drive from the double E. How about Roberson? They're going to love this guy in Regina. For over 23 years, along with the CFL and its member clubs, the Purolator Tackle Hunger program has delivered over 27 million meals to Canadian families in need. Go to PurolatorTackleHunger.ca. That's PurolatorTackleHunger.ca to donate today. That is where they will be headed. Winnipeg on August 14th, and then the Hammer on September 7th. First and 10 for Harris. Looking for Conley. It was covered well by DeBlanco, even if he did catch it, but he did not.
You know, I don't think we've mentioned it yet, but this Edmonton defense coming into the week is ranked number 1 in the Canadian Football League. DeBlanco, big hits in that Kelowna series with BC in that game, and then the second game as well. Kind of kick-started this defense. But number 1 ranked defense in the league, and that's saying something because I've always thought it's been Montreal for the first.
Yeah. Elks defense, 24.6 points against per game. Riders have missed 9 straight second down opportunities. Not this one. Schaefer Baker goes up and hangs on in what I would describe as heavy traffic. Feeling it a little bit, isn't he?
Well, he knew he was going to feel the hits on this one. I guarantee you that, because it's in that danger area. It's going to be right over here. He has to get around the bump from DeBlanco and then find that spot, but he knows the DBs are coming downhill to get after him.
That's Kenneth Logan, who popped him. That left leg did not look good on Schaefer Baker. Now he is sitting up, and they're taking a look at it.
Grabbed the knee too. It looked like it. I thought initially he got hit in the hip, and he absorbed that one. But Emilus already out of the lineup. Do have Deshaun Mims out of the University of Regina dressed in this game tonight. But the initial contact, it looked like he kind of absorbed this from Logan. But you see the cleat was in the turf.
He's up, and he is walking off.
That's a good sign.
Very positive sign. We'll monitor that situation. You're missing Emilus, Schaefer Baker out here for at least a couple plays, and a weird night for Keyshawn Johnson so far as well. Trevor Harris, 115 passing yards late in the third quarter.
And Keyshawn Johnson's fighting it a little bit.
Johnson, Schaefer Baker, and Emilus combined for almost 1,700 yards on the season coming into this game. Where's Harris go now? Under a little bit of heat, drops it off to his running back. Conley with a little bit of space, finds a corner. Conley down to the 30 before they force him out of bounds. Have yourself a second half here, Quali Conley.
Quali Conley, we've seen him between the tackles in that special move where he turned backwards and hurdles. Now watch just flat out speed. This is a check down, in trouble. The pocket is collapsing. Get it out to Conley, your tailback. And he outruns the angle here of Logan, who's a DB basically, for a 29-yard gain.
We mentioned they're missing a couple of receivers. Now where do they go? Well, maybe they just get Conley a little bit more involved. Again, spin cycle. Moves moves it ahead. Woo. Down inside the 25 now. He didn't jump backwards over somebody, but that spin move was very impressive.
Yeah, especially after a 29-yard run where he was full speed to get to the boundary. And now watch this one. Inside handoff, and whoop.
He's just feeling it.
It's
right
twice
now,
on Logan. And there's maybe a little bit of the patience, too. Just a couple of read steps before that spin. He's finding it nice, settling in nicely.
Gone to the sideline for a breather. Bertrand Houdon into the game on 2nd and 5. Harris down the field, and that is held on to. Ford is there. Doesn't matter. Mims has it.
Yeah, Deshaun Mims with Keon Schaefer-Baker having to sit out at least 3 plays, maybe longer, while they assess him. And now Logan slow to get up. But Deshaun Mims gets a chance. 6th-round draft pick a couple of years ago for the Riders. Of course, everybody will remember his father, Robert.
As they take a look at Kenneth Logan Jr., we'll step away here. Second half action at Commonwealth.
Tight window to throw that in. Watch DeBlanco on this blitz, and he's picked up by Bertrand Houdon and the receiver and Johnson right here. Double team on the blitzing linebacker coming up. Well, actually, it was just 3-man pressure, but the linebacker on the blitz, or on the rush to Deshaun Mims. His dad, Robert, probably a guy that Milt Stiegel knows well, who was a rookie nominee for outstanding player when he was a Bomber and 3-time All-Canadian.
Tommy Stevens into the game. The ball is on the Edmonton 7. 1st and goal. Just let a couple of runs of Tommy Stevens pick it up. They mix something else in here. Trevor Harris, of course, stays on the field. He'll go to the bottom of your screen, way out to the right of Tommy Stevens. Now Stevens stands in the shotgun. Stevens waits, takes it, barrels it down just inside the 5-yard line. They'll give him 3.
Shotgun formation, so it gives Tommy Stevens a little bit of time to pick where he wants to take this football. He's just going to take his time coming out here. A little bit of a play action, but not much of a fake. He's just trying to find a hole. Maybe it's a cutback lane, but Malik Carney closes that door.
It'll be 2nd and goal from the Edmonton 4. More of a typical heavy package in here now for the Riders. And Tommy Stevens pulling his way to the end zone again. Pushing through ball, that's out! Edmonton's on it, there's a flag on the play. We've got some things to sort out here at Commonwealth.
Kobe Williams comes up with it. 2 flags in the back of the end zone. Saskatchewan's indicating that it's going against Edmonton.
Too many players. Edmonton. It's half the distance to the goal on the 1st down.
Too many men on Edmonton.
Oh boy, let's see, because this looked like live anyway that it was a clean fumble. Ball is out. Edmonton recovers, and we're looking at a goal line stand there. And they'll have to start again. Let's take a quick look. Well, they allowed 12. And don't bring up 13 men when Saskatchewan's playing.
Finally, it's gone the other way. Killam's got to be frustrated with that. Noah Curtis is down on the field. They're looking at his left leg. Already lost Noah Taylor in the first half of this game. He was disqualified for taking a penalty for contact with an official and then essentially got what would be an embellishment diving call, and that was the second one, and he was ejected. So they're already down one defensive lineman, and a good one, and now Curtis limps off the field. There's Taylor watching on. Obviously frustrated with probably both himself and maybe the calls. First and goal from the Edmonton 2. Tommy Stevens already has 2 touchdowns in this game. Looking for the hat trick. Not going to happen there. Little bit of a stumble. Gets it down to the 1 on a slip. And they'll have to line up and do it again.
Could be a little bit of the first half rain that is playing a bit of a factor here. Did he just slip trying to... Yeah, right there. Just lost his footing.
They're not going anywhere else, though.
No. Try the left side.
Riders looking to finally finish this thing off. Tommy Stevens. Is he in? Yes. Touchdown Riders. A hat trick for Big Tommy.
That Edmonton defense made him work for this one. But the Riders get it done. Tommy Stevens gets it done. And remember, they started that short yardage big guy package when they were just inside the 5-yard line. Got it down to there. Got the penalty after the fumble. So caught a break there if you're the Saskatchewan Roughriders and their fans. But Tommy Stevens said, hey, I put 13 out there. We'll take advantage of that.
How much do they love Tommy Stevens? They took Trevor Harris off the field at the 7-yard line. That's how much trust they have in Tommy Stevens. And now Trevor comes back out. Harris will be out there as they're going to go for 2. They lead by 4. They want to lead by 6. Conley up the middle, and he'll be stuffed. And that gets a roar from the crowd here in Edmonton. Tamari Fox in the middle of this one. But the Riders come away with a lead through 3 on 3 touchdowns from that man, Tommy Stevens. Capped off a 10-play, 70-yard drive that took 4.5 minutes. Buckle up. 4th quarter should be a good one here in Edmonton. In the books in Edmonton, it's the Riders leading 20-16. We expected a close game. Yeah. It's a different style of game than one we saw last week.
Yeah, it really is a different type of game, and it feels like, you know, it's a real defensive struggle at times in this one. But we could end up with a quarter to play with a very similar score to last week. I think the biggest difference is probably last week there were 7 explosion plays. 7 plays in the passing game for both these teams combined over 30 yards. Tonight, there has been none. So you have to work for every inch, work for every yard. We've seen hat trick touchdowns in 3 yards rushing from Tommy Stevens. Three 1-yard touchdowns for that short yardage team of the Riders.
If you were in a jam at quarterback this week in CFL Fantasy and had to start Tommy Stevens, you're loving every minute of it. 3 touchdowns in this game. And we are underway, 4th quarter. Leak takes it just outside the 20. And they will contain him once again. He picks his way out to about the 35, and that is where Edmonton will go to work.
So last week's game finished 36-34 with the walk-off field goal. 36 or just over 30 points for both these teams. Very realistic with a quarter to go as the offenses make adjustments and figure out what's going on defensively and try and take advantage of it.
The Riders this year 4-0 when leading heading into the 4th quarter. We'll see if they can make that a perfect 5-0. Fajardo will try to prove otherwise. On the ground, Leak spinning ahead, got to about the 40.
4-yard pickup, second and manageable for Fajardo.
Interesting during the break in our interview with Javon Leake that he talked about how they rotate Leake and Justin Rankin back and forth, that the coaches will talk to him and say to Rankin, you'll get 3 series and then we're going to put 1 in for Leake. They're great teammates, great mutual respect in the locker room. And it's Leake's turn.
They've combined for just 36 yards so far in this one. And Evans and Murray are going to point back and forth at each other.
Well, they'll check, the replay center will check this in real time to see who moved first, if there was movement.
Saskatchewan number 98.
Yeah.
5-yard penalty remains. Second down.
Says he came up pretty quick. That was explosive stuff.
Yeah, it was off the edge, and he was indicating that number 68, Jordan Murray, right there at right tackle, moved first, but we saw a few replays, and that's not the case.
So second and 1, Fajardo looking to handle this himself. And he'll push it over top of the pile. And that'll be very close to a first down. Let's see where they spot this. I think they've spotted it. And it will be a first down. Fajardo stretching out a little bit. And they do move the chains. Fajardo 17 of 21, 169 yards. Favorite target so far tonight, O'Leary Orange. Has Leak out to his left, goes over the middle, way high in the air. Luther went up for it, couldn't bring it down.
Mentioned Derek Roberson in the last series where he registered his first sack in the Canadian Football League. Well, go back to 2019, week 16, when Roberson registered his first sack against Drew Brees as a member of the Tennessee Titans, and he got a second against Drew Brees in that game. That in the 4th quarter, down to the 1-yard line.
Not a bad way to make a name for yourself. Second and 10. Fajardo pressured again. Now he's on the run. And he finds a man down the field. Great job by Julian Grants to kind of box out the defender and make the play.
Well, it looks like Derek Roberson was going to be right in the throwing lane here off the edge against Murray. He swats his hands down, but the heads-up play by Cody Fajardo to climb up in the pocket and stay behind the line of scrimmage on that throw.
They'll get a fresh set of downs after a 26-yard completion. And now from the Rider 38, high snap. Fajardo gets it away. Luther stays on his feet, takes it down inside the 20. And the crowd loves it here at Commonwealth.
Talk about first. TJ Luther's first 100-yard game last week, 157, mentioned it off the top. This is last week for TJ Luther was your I belong game. That game that you have where you go, yep, I belong.
Looks like he's the real deal.
He's the real deal.
Just inside the red zone, Edmonton rolls on. Now it's Leak. Can he find space? Broke one tackle, pushed it up ahead to the 15, a hard 4 yards for Javon Leak. Now Sanders trying to fight him for the football. TJ Luther, monster game last week. 157 yards, and then Austin Mack with 173.
Yeah, Austin Mack over the last 3 games we showed you, it's well over 400. I'm sure TJ Luther's he's working with this guy in practice. He's learning from him. He's learning how to get in the same page with Cody Fajardo and targeted, I believe it was 11 times in that game last week. There's trust there.
Fajardo looks to his left, throws quickly, and it's knocked out. Had O'Leary Orange, but Edouard was there to make the tackle and knock it loose.
Jonathan Edouard out of Carleton has been playing this game for Roland Milligan Jr. and has been holding his own and then some. Couple big plays here from him, and this is maybe the biggest. That little sit-down route that we see so many times from every offense in the league to a Larry Orange, and he just played the play and jumped it.
Edmonton will have to settle for another short field goal attempt for Vincent Blanchard. And he puts it through, and once again, we've got a one-point ball game.
That's a big play on the goal line like that. That would have been a first down if Edouard doesn't get that knock.
Great play by Edouard, as Clint mentioned. He's had a pretty good game so far, and it's a tight one with just over 10 to play. Well, the Riders don't have A.J. Ouellette again, and they probably won't for a little while, but a couple of highlight reel plays from his replacement tonight.
Well, first of all, this was unreal. I'm sure it's happened before. I don't remember seeing it, but to do that and keep his balance, and then another spin move on the very next series. It was great timing there. Both those plays, by the way, on Kenneth Logan, trying to make the tackle. And I only bring that up because Kenneth Logan's basically a DB. He's 6 foot 210, so he's agile like Connolly.
Saskatchewan will start on their 40 after the field goal. 3 receivers out to the right for Harris. That's where he's going to throw, and he's got a completion down to the 50. It's Duncan Busby who hauls it in, and that's a big play to start the drive.
That's the thing about these two quarterbacks in this game tonight. It really doesn't matter how the game is going, whether the offense has not really found a lot of traction, if it's been a hard slugging against the #1 ranked defense. They're going to keep their composure. They're going to keep with it, and sooner or later, they're going to get in that groove and get a drive together.
21 yards to Duncan Busby. He's got a team high 66. Conley trying to bounce it to the outside. Cordell Jackson is down there to make sure he doesn't do any significant damage after picking up a couple.
Andrew Harris is his running back coach. I'm sure he's learning from A.J. Ouellette, but Andrew Harris was one of the best in the business at that patience at the line of scrimmage. And, you know, Connolly looked like he rushed that one a little bit and then got right in behind the offensive lineman, running almost right into his back, and then bounced outside. Had he bounced a little earlier, probably picks up 6 or 7.
Escapes, wide open, drops it in there, just inside the 25. He's got Johnny Johnson.
Trevor Harris feeling the pressure and then looking backside on that deep post route from Johnny Johnson. Remember, he opened the game with the big return to answer. Little double move. Right over the middle in a 27-yard gain to get a new set of downs.
Johnny Johnson had just 40 yards on the season coming in. He's got 33 more tonight. 1st and 10 from the 22. Out into the flats. Johnson again. Near sideline. Diving towards the end zone. But they're going to say he stepped out at the 6.
Every score and potential score is automatically reviewed. They'll be looking at this to see if he's out of bounds or not. But how about this burst? Just a little bubble screen, get some blocking up front. Nice kick out block on Terrell Ford, and where's the step? There it is. 7-yard line, going in. Stepped on the white stripe.
Riders 3 for 3 inside the red zone tonight. For now, it'll be Trevor Harris. He'll give it to Conley. He'll grab his feet, and they'll take him down.
Trevor Harris has been excellent in the red zone this year. This offense is hitting at 19 at 25 coming in, about 76% when they get inside the 20. Some of that has been Tommy Stevens. It certainly has tonight. But Trevor Harris at the helm has been excellent when when the goal line, or the box, as a lot of the guys call it.
I'm a little surprised that they bring Tommy Stevens back out again. He's been very efficient so far tonight. They're a little bit further out last time, but Trevor Harris having a heck of a season. His job to finish this, or at least get him closer. Looks to his left. Corner round. Drops it in there. Touchdown Riders. Keyshawn Johnson. He's got one. It's his 5th of the season.
That's how you make up for an off night. It's been an off night for Keyshawn Johnson. Everybody has it. But just to the left of your screen, he's running a corner route right there. And then he's going to flatten this out and get separation and then tap that left toe inbounds.
Riders are going to try to make it a 9-point game here with 6:40 on the clock.
Good idea. Makes it a 2-possession if you make it. Edmonton understands that.
It's a big couple of points. Johnson moves in behind his quarterback. Now slides back in the block. Harris looks to his right. Throws in that direction. Got it again. Keyshawn Johnson on the other side of the field.
Exactly the same play. And I bet you they went in the huddle and said, just, hey, what we just did, do it again, but do it from the other side.
It worked. Keyshawn Johnson coming up big when the Riders needed it the most. A 6-play, 70-yard drive that finishes in just over 3.5 minutes and leads to big 8 points. Well, some redemption for Keyshawn Johnson. A couple of drops early in this game. Drops that really surprised us because he's very sure-handed, but he comes up big here.
Yeah, when you're playing football at this level, you're working on your mental discipline all the time. And what Keyshawn Johnson after this game will remember, he's going to remember those 2 or 3 drops. It's going to bug him until next week. But this makes it feel a little bit better. Back-to-back plays, 2 tough catches, kept the feet in bounds, salvage this game.
And the Riders have a bit of a cushion.
Fell off the tee.
What happened there?
Well, I just wonder why it was stopped. It looked like the ball fell off the tee.
The ball fell off the tee before being kicked. We're going to redo it.
And then he still kicked it.
Right, but as it's falling there, why?
The whistle did go as soon as that ball fell back. You're thinking this should have been play on?
Well, just keep playing. Yeah. I mean, some guys, sometimes they'll have someone hold it if it's a wind day.
It is a wind into the face of the Riders and hail. See if they can get it away cleanly this time.
That's another text to head of officiating Darren Hackwood to get
need the information on this.
Yeah, we'll get it for next week.
A short kick. Had to be taken on the far side by Leak, and he safely steps out of bounds. And now we've got a 2-score game, 2-possession game here. Leak still talking trash to that far sideline.
Well, time is important here, too. I mean, there's lots of it. But Cody Fajardo knows he needs both. He needs to score the major and then get in field goal range or vice versa. So fishing with the time in and out of the huddle is going to be important.
And they find time to get Rankin maybe going. He's going to slide out to the left, now go down the field. That's where they're going to throw. And Rankin's got it at the 40. Stays on his feet, takes it to the 30. Rankin finally taken down just inside the 25. And I guess, Suits, they can get him going.
Yeah, get him going, get him in the passing game. You saw him, the way he left the backfield. He left knowing what the route was and that he was going to be the primary. So he's coming out of the backfield full speed, and he's leaving saying, I'm going down the middle. 51-yarder with some yak to add on to it after the catch. Get him involved.
Longest play of the game. 1st and 10 from the 21. Fajardo with pressure in his face. Gets it into the hands of Austin Mack, and he takes it down to the 5. You said there's time, but there's not a lot of time.
They're moving quick. Yeah, moving quickly. Looking at the major now, obviously inside the red zone. This play, though, Cody Fajardo has to alter his throwing angle because there's a rush in his face, and he's got to kind of throw around that rush. Gets it right to Matt.
First and goal from the Rider 5. Edmonton looking to answer back. Fajardo over the middle, got it! Touchdown, Edmonton! T.J. Luther! And the double E aren't going away just yet.
Early movement from the safety, and Jackson Ford shows pre-snap where Cody Fajardo wants to go with this football. When he sees the safety starting to move to Ford's right, he wants to go backside seam just over the crossbar and test to see if Jackson Ford can get back to that. And he wasn't there in time.
Cody probably relieved he got it up and over the bar. Caused some issues for him.
A couple of times.
What a game shaping up here. Great finish on the way. Blanchard again. And it is a two-point football game. A big 2 points that the Riders got their last time down the field when they went for two after the Keyshawn Johnson touchdown. Don't go anywhere. Saturday night's got a fabulous finish on the way. Fajardo, Luther, touchdown. Trevor Harris continues in pursuit of a road win and 40,000 career yards. For more on that, let's send it down to Tom Gazzola.
Just 56 more yards Harris needs for the milestone to get to that 40,000 mark. He moved into 12th place all-time earlier in the season for yards passing in the CFL, past Tom Clements, and now he's chasing down Tracy Ham. Ham sitting at 40,534, guys, and if he wants to crack the top 10 this year, he could do it. He would have to knock out the legend, Doug Flutie. 41,355 is what Flutie has, so a little bit of history in the making for the future Hall of Famer in Trevor Harris.
Would just be the 12th quarterback to hit that mark. Could do it on this drive. Big kick, and that one is going to bounce all the way through the end zone.
Yeah, no point, and ball on the 40-yard line. Good field position. Good decision. The only thing I'll say about that is that the returners, if that somehow gets backspin and doesn't go out, it's a live ball.
It was coming in pretty hot, though.
It was coming in hot.
Yeah.
Good decision.
Easy one to let fly through, and all of a sudden, excellent field position. And the Riders, with a 2-point cushion, will have the ball on their own 40. Bit of a mistake there from Edmonton. Harris, Conley standing to his right. That's where they're going to start it. Stays on his feet, cuts it back to the line of scrimmage. Not much further, probably a yard.
So this is the big down right here. One of them for sure. By the way, a couple of interceptions in back-to-back games for Meyer as well. This Edmonton defense leading the league in takeaways. But this second and long is, of the 6 plays that determine the outcome of the game, here's one of them.
They've played close ones. Last 4 games combined, just 11 points separating these two teams. Called here at Commonwealth. Edmonton called the timeout. The game clock on your screen is going to be reset to 3:50. Get 17 seconds back here. You said this is a big down.
Oh, no question. And does Edmonton decide to send pressure here, try and get Trevor Harris off his spot? Or are they going to show that they're going to blitz and drop out of there and play cover? sometimes pick your poison against a veteran quarterback. But you never know. You get one guy free. Get the free hitter there if you're J.C. Sherritt. You get a chance to move him off the spot. Maybe the throw isn't quite as accurate as he'd like, but this is a biggie right here.
Crowd at Commonwealth, many of them to their feet. Elks have 3 on the line. Harris gets a look at things and resets. 2nd and 9. Edmonton will send for. Harris dumps it off. Tackle made by DeBlanco. As Trevor Harris went to his running back, and DeBlanco was on it. Conley had nowhere to go.
Well, this is straight man coverage. So J.C. Sherritt says we're going to play man-to-man, and that means that DeBlanco's got the back out of the backfield in Conley. And he tracks him there. Conley came out the right side of the offensive formation and then tried to cross the face of DeBlanco, but he was in position to cut him off and get there to make the tackle short of the first down.
Conley's been great tonight, but DeBlanco was all over it. Chapman, big kick, 50-yarder. Leak as fast as he can, takes it out beyond the 25. Well, a different type of game, but we're getting to the same
similar score
type of finish.
And it might be a similar score. 3 minutes left in our game is enough time for 2 or 3 possessions. Who gets the last one is the question. Last week it was Cody Fajardo who got that final possession, drove down and got into field goal range. It was a long field goal. This week, can the Rider defense get him off the field and get the ball back?
We'll discuss the Riders' kicking game if it gets there. We have hit 3 minutes here in Commonwealth. Excellent finish on the way. Don't go anywhere. Cody Fajardo settling in here to get the ball with 3 minutes left. His team down by 2, and we saw what he did last week late.
Yeah, went to work, needed a drive to get into field goal range and got it done. I believe there was a negative play in that drive as well that he overcame, and he took a sack at one point, but Blanchard with the 57 walk-off to win it.
This drive will start on their own 27. Fajardo on the run. Now down the field, trying to come back to it was Julian Grant, and he could not get there. There's a flag back, and it's going to be a hold against Edmonton.
Oh boy, this is big. Take the penalty, first down over, but you're looking at first and 20.
Edmonton number 53. 10-yard penalty. Remains first down.
I believe it was Bordner.
Sometimes feel for the offensive linemen. Often we only circle them when this happens.
Not very often you go, what a pickup by the offensive lineman. All right, first and 20 for Fajardo.
It is what it is.
Riders send 5. Pressure gets there. Fajardo on the run to his right. Can he find anything? He cannot. Has to step out of bounds after a short pickup, and it's going to be 2nd and long.
Get some of the penalty yards back. And this is Fajardo's game. He's not concerned with the fact. In fact, he'll throw it behind the sticks here if he has to and hope that his receiver can get the yak yards necessary, yards after catch necessary to get up there and get a new set and keep this drive alive, keep it away from Saskatchewan. But find different ways in their 6 wins.
Pressure from the Riders disrupting things on the last play. They've got 6 on the line now. They're going to send them all. Fajardo deep drop. He's in trouble. And they get there. Riders defense storms in and crushes Cody
just that they were going with pressure, the Rider defense. It was the type of pressure they have in the stunt and movement on the defensive line. I mean, we're talking a bit of a stunt here in the blitz to completely fool the offensive line, make sure all the blocks are picked up, and a free hitter right down Main Street.
Josh Woods gets credit for the sack. Julian, big kick. Weeb's going to take it just inside the 45. And he takes it all the way back onto Edmonton's side of the field. And the Riders find themselves in a pretty good spot. However, a late flag coming out. And we'll see which way this one goes.
Right down there. The flag is right by the Edmonton bench.
Edmonton celebrated.
After play, objectional conduct. Saskatchewan number 12. This is a 10-yard penalty. It'll be first down, Saskatchewan.
Malcolm Bell, objectional conduct. And that backs them up significantly back onto the Riders' side of the field at the 50.
Well, the Riders were looking at trying to bleed the clock from the positive side of the 50 into Edmonton territory, bleed the clock down, get a couple first downs, kick the winner, pad the score, and get out of here with the win. Now they're out of field goal range and need 2 first downs to get there. Tommy Stevens in there.
And it's Tommy Stevens in to try and seal this thing away. He's going to hang on to it right up the middle. Almost has enough for a first down. Looks like it'll be 9.
Slow to get up.
Oh, and he comes up with a limp. Going to hang in there. At least try to pick up this first down.
What a run, though, on first down here. Cordell Jackson coming on the blitz out of the secondary. Malik Carney, he tried to crash from the end position and try to soften up that edge, and Tommy Stevens just hit it.
Brinkman is down. They're looking at his left leg. Stevens is trying to walk this off. And I wonder if Stevens can pick up this first down. Do they bring Trevor Harris back in, maybe to seal it away?
I'll show you that run one more time on first down, because Thomas Bertrand-Houdon makes a huge block here to help out. Watch number 30. Step up. Stevens will fake to him there, and watch this hit. Look at that block right there. That's on Malik Carney. Without that block, they don't have a play.
Big let's go Riders chance here in Commonwealth. They're always among them, aren't they? Riders fans travel well and live everywhere.
And Tommy Stevens just said, it's a long way from my heart. Let's go.
He'll be okay. 2nd and inches. Has 3 touchdowns in this game already. Working on sealing this one away. Pushes it ahead. That'll be enough. And the Riders have themselves a first down with a couple of minutes left.
Keep in mind now, this is game 2 between these two teams. And they will play one more time the last game of the season. So points for and against likely won't be a factor. Someone will win this series. Could be an interesting game, that last game of the regular season.
We're not talking about final game for either of these teams. We're talking about final game on the CFL schedule. These two teams in Regina. Stevens from the shotgun. Here he goes again. That time only got a yard. And it'll be 2nd and 9.
Keyshawn Johnson getting his nose dirty in there too. In this,
Edmonton.
I'm not going to call it a short yardage setup, because they're not looking at short yardage here. They want chunks on the run. And now Trevor Harris will come back in on 2nd and long. They'll even bring in their receivers to do a little work off the edge here. Keyshawn Johnson making sure that Cordell Stewart
That'd be
Cordell Jackson can't get there.
One of the areas where they miss Emelis. He's an excellent blocker as a receiver. Trevor Harris. Almost it right here. 2nd and 9. Outside of field goal range for now. Can he change that? Harris gets it away. There's a flag. And Trevor Harris is down. And is this going to be against Edmonton? Harris was down late. The passer.
Automatic first down.
Tamari Fox.
I don't know about that one.
Oh, it's a massive call in this game, though, because they would have had to make a decision on whether to kick the deep field goal, which Hale has not hit this year, or punt it. Instead, that penalty on Fox really hurts the home side. Stevens is okay. He's back in here. Pushes it ahead again, trying to move the pile or get a couple of yards. And it'll be a 2nd and 8.
I don't know about that penalty. It must have been called because the official felt it was just too late. And Fox didn't realize it.
Fox doesn't know how late
he doesn't know he's late because the ball's out. But it was late enough because it wasn't below the knees.
Got him around the waist.
Got him around the waist and kind of just pulled him down. So we'll call it a soft one, but I guess it was late was the reason.
As the rain once again fires up here, Harris looks to finish these guys off. They'll run a draw, a fitting finish. Conley, not over. This time Logan got him, but that's a first down for the Riders.
Kenneth Logan is not happy. It looks like from his own coaching staff. What a great call by Mark Mueller to go with the draw in this case when you're 2nd and long to get. You see the Sam linebacker and Logan dropped way back into the middle of the field, an 11-yard gain to eat up more of this clock and get down in the chip shot range in case you need it. May not.
Both teams have a timeout. Clock ticks down inside 50 seconds. Stevens, he slips, and they'll hop on him right away. 2nd time in the half that Tommy Stevens has slipped. And now we've got some pushing and shoving, multiple flags, and this game might finish the way that it started.
Logan Furlan was in the middle of that one with Malik Carney, it looked like. See the officials sort this out.
Another tight battle between these two clubs.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Edmonton number 2. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Malik Carney, unnecessary roughness. And there will be some discipline things that Mark Killam, who got a penalty himself tonight, will need to clean up.
Got a penalty after Noah Taylor was thrown out of the game for his 2nd personal foul, and it was for embellishment, which I understand the frustration from Coach Killam there, but again, maintain some composure and discipline.
Victory formation for the Riders on the road. Trevor Harris takes a knee. Corey Mace still fired up. I love it. You knew Corey Mace was going to have the Riders ready for tonight.
Yeah, and he wants to make sure the clock is run correctly and runs all the way down here. He doesn't want to give Cody Fajardo even 10 seconds.
Trevor Harris now with a conversation with Tim Kroger. They'll blow it in again for Saskatchewan. We said earlier on, something had to give tonight. The Elks were 3-0 at home. The Riders were 2-0 on the road. And it is the Elks that break as the Riders remain perfect away from Regina. As we mentioned, they will meet again in the final week of the season. And who knows what'll be on the line in that one.
The last time that Edmonton got the sweep in a back-to-back against Saskatchewan was back in the 50s.
Been a long time.
And it's going to continue.
I'll have to wait a little bit longer. Listen to the Riders crowd here in Commonwealth.
Well, hey, great job to the Edmonton fans here, too, for coming out. This is a team they can be proud of. Doesn't mean they're going to go the rest of the way without a loss here and there, but they've got a great leader in Cody Fajardo. They've got a 6-2 record now. They're still tops in the West Division, and this football team is worth coming out to watch.
The race is on at the top of the West. Calgary and Winnipeg lurking right there as well. A couple points back of the Riders. And it was Edmonton going in to Regina and picking up a win. The Riders return the favor here tonight. Not a lot separating these two clubs. Keyshawn Johnson with a clutch touchdown in this one as Saskatchewan spoils the big party here in Commonwealth. Tommy Stevens with a hat trick of touchdowns and helped seal away another one on a lightning delayed game that makes things very interesting at the top of the West. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night from Edmonton.